not have a PS4. So I watched somebody play through it on YouTube. I'm like, oh damn, I wish I had a PS4 because this looks super dope. So when they announced Miles Morales, I'm like, I have to play this because the game looks super dope. So when I get a PS5 at some point, I'll buy the collection so I'll have both games so I can play through both.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that explanation didn't work for me, Jamie. Once you got the PlayStation, you should have went to Spider-Man, then Miles Morales.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just worried about it's fine being exclusive and all that. The game is buggy. The Marvel's Avengers game, it's not perfect, and I don't know how they'll handle an exclusive character on one system. Like I just don't. I'm just worried about it just being a problem. Like I just don't. Yeah, I'm just a little worried.
I wouldn't. That's Sony's baby. Ain't no way in hell they're gonna do it.
They're not making. I mean, they're not the one.
What threw me off, and I know
it.
why, because the likeness and the voices, whatever, I get it. But what threw me off was they just, to me, I'm sure the game is great. To me, just the way they sound, the way they look like dollar store versions of the Avengers.
Well,
that's how I took it.
They ain't want to pay him. They probably want to pay him.
It's not based off of the movie.
It's not.
I know.
It's not.
It's supposed to be drastically different. It's why I can't go into the wait. No, everyone's here. No, Jamie, you said you played it but didn't like it, right?
Which one?
Marvel's
Avengers?
Yeah.
I haven't played it at all. Played it. I've seen gameplay though. Don't judge me. Don't judge.
No judgment. No judgment.
I feel it through the screen.
No judgment whatsoever.
It's fine. I mean, hey.
I want to try it out, but at the same time, it's like because the thing that throws me off is I saw the announcement trailer for it. I'm like, oh, this looks super dope. Like this could be like a new Ultimate Alliance like game. Like that would be super cool. And then I saw the gameplay for it, and I was slowly like, oh, okay, that's what it is. And after that, I just never really like had that same initial excitement. So I didn't end up picking up the game. But
So,
I've
Jamie,
been
you
hearing
have an Xbox?
I have both now. So I have an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4.
Okay. I had both. I only have a 1S now. But my question is, I was looking to actually pick up the Avengers game. But when I go to the Microsoft Store, all it says is XS, Series XS. So why is it? Am I looking at it wrong? I do not see. It doesn't look like there's a version that I can pick up that's not Series XS.
Let me see. You should
or
be
Series
able to
X,
get it.
whatever it is.
It should
Wait,
be.
for what game? Sorry.
For Avengers. It didn't look like.
It should be.
Yeah. Wait, you're saying is there a version for the new Xbox and PlayStation?
No. Is there a version for the old generation? Because I only have Xbox One S.
Yeah,
that's what it was on first.
Yeah, that's what it was on first.
Right. No, I know, but for some reason, when I go to the Microsoft Store to get the game,
don't go to Microsoft
Store.
Don't go to Microsoft Store. Go to Amazon. It's like $20. Go to Amazon.
Oh, so just get the physical copies.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, we're live, but who cares? Amazon doesn't sponsor us. I bought it, beat it, and then returned it, and then was like, shit.
Oh, okay. So I know why it says that. I think it's because it gives you access to both the Xbox One version and the Series X and S.
If I get it.
Yeah, so if you buy it for one platform, you can get it on all.
Okay.
Right. And also remember, Joe, they're pushing for the newer systems.
That's what I thought.
They're not really interested in if you have older systems. They want you to
because the pre-orders are the same thing. Like Guardians, I see the pre-order for the Guardians game. Not that I'm gonna get it, but it says Series XS or Series X, whatever it is.
It'll go there first. It'll go there first. Yeah. What's up, Tia?
Hey.
Sorry, I was a tad late. It is raining cats and dogs here, so I had to make sure that all the windows were closed. I was like, hang on.
That is smart. It's doing the same here.
Actually, that panic when you're like, oh my God, did I close the window?
Actually, three of us, maybe not Jamie, but three of us should be experiencing this rain right now. Trayvon's not far
from
New Jersey and New York. You're not experiencing rain, Trayvon?
Not right now. It was earlier.
Okay. Well, I know Joe, me, and Tia are.
Yeah, it's pouring out right now.
Yeah. I had a little bit of rain earlier, but
it's
just
raining so hard that if you stepped outside and you had some soap and you put it, like you could bathe outside. If that's how much it is like going crazy.
New York.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is behind you, Tia, but it almost looks like Patrick's head from SpongeBob.
Oh, I see.
Oh, it's a salt lamp.
Okay, I see it now. I know what it is. Okay.
It really
It's a
does
salt
look
lamp
like
that-
he's just
I thought
like,
that was Patrick. Like just hiding behind your couch.
No, it's a salt lamp that the like light bulb broke and I haven't replaced it yet. So it's decoration now.
actually mine was mine started leaking not too long ago.
Your
The salt
salt lamp?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so strange.
Thought the same thing.
Did you get it on Amazon?
Not the only one that freaked out. I was just like, where would the water even generate from? But then I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe salt's like a cactus, maybe, you know, because you wouldn't think cactus has water in it, but it does.
Well, salt can hold water, I think, but
Maybe it's holding water in there. I have no idea. But when I picked it up and it was like soaking wet underneath it, I was just like, I don't think that's normal. Plug you in
I don't think that's normal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna plug you in anymore. You're on a nightstand. You could cause a fire. All right, so we're still waiting for a few more people. This was a crazy episode. This was a really, really, really crazy episode.
Did anyone else watch it? Like, I know we're gonna get into it and everything, so I don't want to get like too far ahead of myself. But when you finished watching the episode, didn't you feel like how you felt in Infinity War when you were like, anyone else see that? Like, I don't know. That's how I felt. I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I'm never watching this again.
See,
This
I'm
episode
not
is
that
once.
extreme.
This
Trayvon,
episode is
you,
once.
Trayvon, you were so like that. Like, because you were like that after WandaVision. You were like, that's it. I'm never watching these shows again.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I didn't feel that strong.
I'll drop the episode tomorrow, but I've learned podcasting with Trayvon and JD. They are like the ultimate forms of extreme. JD was filled yesterday with, I don't care about any of the DC stuff coming out, and he was just going down. I don't care about that. It's just like JD. Like, what? Why? What did?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't really care either. But,
About any of them? None of them?
I do. I care
Nothing?
about some of it. I care about
Nothing?
I mean, the Batman. You know, the Batman. That's it. Nothing else. Oh, and Doom Patrol. But you know, that's like different. I don't even consider that DC. That's in this like beautiful world of its own.
Goodness.
At least in my
gracious.
head. Goodness gracious.
What's
you
up,
know what's
JD?
crazy?
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, speaking about like this episode of Benedict Cumberbatch, did you guys see that apparently like the director of Shang-Chi wanted to bring Benedict Cumberbatch into the movie, but I guess there were like, I think either Kevin Feige or someone said like there's a reason why you can't do that. So I thought that was really interesting.
I've been
that.
avoiding every single thing that mentions Shang-Chi.
I think I think what Kevin Feige is trying to say is, I'm not paying Benedict all this goddamn money. You wanted him in WandaVision. You wanted him in Spider-Man. You wanted him in his own. Then you wanted him in. I'm not paying this man in excess of $15 million per appearance. Hell no. We're doing 2. His movie, Spider-Man's. That's it. That enough of y'all.
And what if?
It's their fault for casting them.
What if too? But I think a lot of these actors wanted to do what if, so it's a bit different. I don't think it was as contractual as some of these other things are. I think it was really like a passion project. Because think about it, everybody in this episode, minus obviously a few characters that weren't in the actual movie, are the actual voice characters or voice actors. Sorry, from the actual movie itself. Rachel McAdams. Tilda Swinton.
I was gonna ask.
Tilda had to be Tilda,
yeah.
Wong.
It was literally everybody that you heard that you were like, oh, weren't they in the first Doctor Strange movie? That was all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, well, that's really awesome. That's great. It shows you how, because think about if you're Rachel McAdams and you get the phone call and you're like, hey, we need you to do something, and it's like, sure, what do you need? Doctor Strange 2? It's like, no, something else. And it's like, okay, what's it about? We'd rather you come in and sit down first before we tell you. we're afraid you'll say no if we tell you over the phone. Just come sit down. Come sit down. And Feige just kind of tells it, hey, you're gonna die like 100 times. It's like, what? Yeah, 100 times. Just don't worry about it. It's okay. Just sign here. It's fine. Don't worry. Don't even think about it. Don't overthink it. But all right, let's get started. We'll wait. Everyone should start piling in soon, but let's get started. Welcome everybody to an all-new episode of the MCR. We are the MCR of the MCU. And on this episode, I got a lot of text messages about, yo, is that who I thought it was with Doctor Strange? And is this what's happening in Spider-Man? And it was, had to mute a lot of people. I think this episode was more self-contained than some people think. But this is a very interesting episode for What If. Probably its darkest. It's truly darkest episode. So actually, Tia, I want to start with you. What were your thoughts on this insane episode of What If?
So, I think you spoke about this before, Joanne. We did not get early access to this episode, so today was the first time I watched it, obviously it being released. I did not know what to expect. I saw the tagline that said, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart as opposed to his hands? And so I wrote this in my review. I will admit that during the first Doctor Strange movie, I did not really care for Doctor Strange and Christine's relationship. I didn't think that they had very good chemistry with each other. And this comes from someone who I really like Benedict Cumberbatch. I like Rachel McAdams. I just did not think that they had good chemistry. I really couldn't care less about their relationship. But somehow in the animated form, when they just kind of presented it in a romantic, none of that whole, back and forth of Doctor Strange not wanting her and pushing her away, I liked it. So that made it even more heartbreaking when she died. I was like, oh no. And then when he kept I felt bad because he tried to save her so many times and it was like she kept dying and I was like, oh, she's meant to die, isn't she? She's meant to die now at this point. And I felt really heartbroken and sad. So I thought it was gonna follow along that somber theme. Similar to last week's episode where we had that very somber theme going on. And then it kind of got really kooky. It got really strange. And I was just like, oh, what's going on? And the animation, I love the animation of this whole show. It kept looking I kept thinking of, did you guys know that 1970s version of Doctor Strange, very evil looking? It kind of reminded me of that. So but it was very weird and I was like, oh, there's Cthulhu going on. And then I will not lie, Juwan, I'm sorry, but at some point I'm like, is he Mephisto? With the red, and I was like, wait, is this where we get it? Is this where we get it? But so that was crazy. And so I will admit I got a little lost in when the two Stranges actually split. Did they split after Doctor Strange tried to bring back Christine so many times, or did they split before then? Because that I will admit I got a little lost there. And it was crazy. I think that when you watch these Marvel things, you always expect for there to be a tied up ending, because at least in the last episode, even though a lot of the Avengers were killed and it was very sad, at least the end of that episode there was this kind of reassuring tone. At least we get Captain America, at least we get Captain Marvel, and that there will be other Avengers, right? In this, it's no. Doctor Strange's behavior and his actions literally cost the entire universe. I did like that we got more of Jeffrey Wright's Watcher and his strong stance that I cannot interfere, even though he literally sees a universe closing around him. And I don't want to be too long-winded about that because I want all of you to say your thoughts on this episode, but it wasn't my favorite. But I didn't hate it, but it just still shocked me. Just like at the end of Infinity War when I was just shocked that, wow, they actually did this. That's how I felt in this. But again, animation style was gorgeous. I liked that everyone was back in their respective roles. I liked Wong's like facial hair. I was like, okay, cool, you look good. And again, I liked Strange and Christine's relationship, whereas I didn't really like their relationship in the movie version. Similar to I never liked Thor and Jane together. That's how I felt about Strange and Christine. So that's my piece.
The Ancient One was the one that split them, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm maybe because I only watched it once, so
Yeah.
I'm just did she split them after Strange went back to try to rescue Christine, or did she split them before that? So the Strange, that's the good Strange, never tried to bring Christine back, and the bad Strange is the one that continuously tried to bring her back.
She technically did it. Okay. Good.
No, go ahead, Trayvon. No, go ahead.
I'll say, well, she technically did it like after the accident. So right after because every time he just basically kept resetting, it seemed like to me. So so she did it after the accident. He was like, no, like, so he split it there, I think. So then he just went on to thinking about doing it, and then that one Strange didn't do it, and the other one went on to trying to figure out a way to do it. Yeah. So that's how I looked at it, as it was just right after the accident. Like the first, technically the first accident.
The first
accident. Because it kept resetting it, right? So technically he kept going back and doing it again, going back, doing it again, going back, doing it again. So it's not like it kept happening.
She split him when they were fighting.
Yeah, so when she shot him in the chest.
Right. The first time she appeared in front of him and said, "Don't do this."
But it was after the accident, though, right? It was after an accident.
Accident.
I knew that. I knew it was after the accident, but I'm saying if it was after, like, if it was after all of Strange's attempts to bring Christine back, essentially,
No,
it wasn't it.
It was before he fully committed, because she was telling him to stop before he fully went through everything he went through. So it was the idea of don't go forward in what I think you're going forward in. Because once he went back in time, he activated it. And it was just the idea of, well, now you've done it. Don't continue to do it. Like, enough. But I mean, I love this episode. I loved it for many reasons. I loved it for one, because they changed how the time stone works. Time stone never worked like that. Time stone was more so dialing a dial on a safe where you're turning it back.
Well, he did that too, though. Remember?
No.
He did do it in here.
Whenever he activated it, he went right back to the moment. It wasn't a rewind. It went right back. A rewind would have been right before they crashed. You just
Trayvon's talking about the scene with the apple. He did the apple.
He was still doing it. He still could use it that way.
No.
He used it a different way.
That's what I'm saying. This used it differently than in the movie. It wasn't just.
He didn't know. He didn't know how. That's what I thought. That's what I figured.
That's you're just feeding into what I'm saying. This did it differently than what the movie did. In the movie, he couldn't just boom instantly right back into the past. He had to actually physically turn time to where it was right where he wanted to go. So in the movie, he would have turned right before they crashed. And he would have had to continuously repeat right before they crashed instead of alternate, like an alternate change to go right back to when he first picked her up. Which is
I took that part as, because that threw me off when he just literally just appeared into almost like a loop. I took it as
like the Mamu.
We were seeing. So in Avengers Infinity War, when he's playing out all 14 million, however I can't remember what the number was, but when he's doing that thing where he's doing the weird glitch and he's replaying all the moments, I took it as we're finally seeing what that looks like. And I thought that's what he was doing in the cartoon. He was playing out every single scenario in which she's going to survive. That's how I took it. But I know what you're saying. He's basically using a different power because he did. Well, that's what I'm saying. It threw me off when he just appeared and he's outside, picking her up again.
Right. But what I did enjoy about this also that they played with in Infinity War and Endgame was time has a way of making, or fate has a way of making sure that singular events always happen. It's why he was telling Stark, no matter what we do, you will die. The only thing that changes is how you die. You can die where you save the world, or you can die where Thanos stabs you and then kills everybody else. Whole world is now under Thanos' thumb. So it was the same thing here. It was, she was meant to die. No matter
that
what
was an absolute.
to do, that was an absolute constant. She had to die. I will say where it took me out, where I was just like, this is really getting stupid, was just how she started dying after a while.
It got ridiculous.
A woman completely healthy, as far as we know, completely just dropping of a heart attack. Just
I thought that was
going die.
I thought it was funny that like right after the scene where she's dancing and then she has a heart attack, he took her to go get pizza. I'm like, she just had a heart attack.
Clearly, the woman doesn't have a healthy heart.
Yeah. What's even stranger than that is like the dude who came into the pizza shop. It didn't even look like his mission was anything else but just to shoot her and walk out. Like he didn't look like he was there to rob the place. He was just like, all right, what do you want me to do, universe? Kill her? Cool. I'm gonna walk in here, shoot her, and then just walk. It was just like, after a while, it was just like, we get it. We understand.
It was the ancient one doing it.
It was the ancient one doing it. There's an episode of Supernatural where like, I forget which one of the characters now, Dean or Sam, like dies 1,000 ways, and like after a while it just becomes the most ludicrous like freaking ways ever. And it's like, that's what it just reminded me of. They're like, let's just kill her. We just need her to die.
Like, after a while, it was just like, all right, come on, guys. Like you put no thought into this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, enough. Enough. Just enough. And the one thing I the one that made me laugh the hardest was when Strange was just like, you know what? I'm not going to pass the chalk. I'm going to just sit here. And the car still just said, you know what? You're dying today, lady. But no, I mean, I really did enjoy this. I think this does have lasting implications for the What If universe. I don't know if anything that happened in this leaks into the actual live MCU. I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'm not theorizing on what any of those monsters were, what any of them could have been. Is this the real Strange in the No Way Home? I have no interest in scattering my brain to any of that. I just liked it for what it was. And my favorite part of the episode was Uatu just kind of going, yeah, told you. And he just like, but can you help me? No.
I thought it was crazy he could sense them. No? I thought it was crazy when he sensed them earlier. Before the end, I was like, oh crap, he can sense him already. I was like, that's kind of
he's strong enough to where he remember, he's a Nexus being, so he's interdimensional. So if Uatu is overseeing, he can see through the dimensions to see him. I believe the people that can do that in the MCU currently would be Loki, Strange, and Wanda. I believe they are powerful enough to where they could see through different multiverses. But I loved it. I loved it where he's just like, but people will die. And he's just like, so? He's just like, well, help me.
It was like really, there was that almost like little comical, like, I forget what cartoon it was, but where it's like a drawing and then it's like finally the creator like kind of looking in, and when his like head turned and he was like, no, you did this all on your own and everything. I'm like, oh man, you messed up. You messed up big time.
I when I tell you, I enjoyed every ounce of that, because he's just like, if I could just punish you, I would, but I won't. You have to live with this. You have to live with the screw up that you just had. So, go ahead and watch and what was even crazier was the world died, but Strange was still alive. Yeah. So he now has to live with the fact that he's responsible for the whole universe collapsing.
They could just make a portal and jump to another universe, right?
Say it again.
Could they just make a portal and jump to another universe? Technically, yeah.
I don't think he's aware of that, and I think he's still like Prism.
I feel like that could be a punishment for the Watcher now, because now Strange is just sitting there like, hey.
Dormammu's like, same to me, bro. He did the same to me.
Yeah, like you can undo this anytime. I'm waiting.
I
if there
will
is,
say though,
go ahead,
I'm
Taylor.
sorry,
No, go
really
ahead.
quick. I will say that this episode did like. Remember we were talking when we were reviewing the trailer for No Way Home, and we were like, "Wow, Strange seems super irresponsible in this moment." This episode made it more believable that Strange would do some dumb shit like this now.
I mean, I said it before. It was believable to me before seeing this. Strange, if you watch the first Doctor Strange movie again, which I did yesterday, he's a very arrogant individual. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Wong's like, hey, you can't do that. You know, there's no way for you to do it and it works. And Strange be like, please watch me.
Well, I mean, I think it's because once we've seen him in Infinity War and Endgame, he seemed to be more mature. So why would
Right,
he
he
was gonna
seemed
say that.
calmer.
Well,
He was,
again-
he was telling Tony like, it's my responsibility
Right.
to watch the universe. I can't.
Remember, the spell was working till Peter effed it up. So it's not like Strange went in just like, I don't even know how to do this. Let's just try to figure it out. No, Strange was doing it properly, and then Peter was just
It's
like,
not
oh,
the
wait,
fact.
blah, blah, blah,
It's
blah,
not
blah.
the idea that he did the spell wrong. It's the idea that he would do it in the first place. Because it's like, why would he do that for Peter? That alone
Because-
seems irresponsible to
Well,
have it
remember-
where everyone in the world forgets who he is.
Well, remember, the original rumor of this movie was Strange was going to be his mentor. He was filling in for the vacant role that Tony left. He was supposed to be the mentor for Peter Parker. So,
How is making people forget you a mentor?
because the world
a mentor,
he's a child.
a mentor instead would tell him how to deal with all of that.
There is no proper way. He is a child that now has every villain in the state of New York gunning for him, knowing where he lives, where he goes to school. A mentor would say, that's really dangerous. Let me figure out a way to make it so the world doesn't know who Spider-Man is, because you're not old enough to be able to handle this. It's the same. If Stark had the ability to do this, he would have done the same thing for him. It's just the idea of he's a child. Now, if Peter Parker was 36, it was just like, wipe everybody's mind. Sharon just say, you got it on your own. You're good. You're okay. But the idea that he's a child still trying to maneuver through life. And by the way, I'm watching this now. Trayvon, you're right. It was after he went back the first time after talking with Wong, where he went back in time to save her, and they got into the first car accident. Ancient One showed up and was just like, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. And he was just like, no, I'm gonna do it anyway. But no, so to me, I never thought it was like there has to be someone possessing Strange or it's a different Strange. I kind of just took it as, I think he thought he could handle the situation. And then when he found out he couldn't handle the situation, he was just like, God damn it, Peter. I should have.
Well, maybe we should have known not to let Peter in there.
Maybe that's where he made the mistake. Maybe that's where he made the mistake. But I think doing it for Peter isn't what is the weird thing, because, it's what you should do. He's a child. That now all the villains know where to find him, where his aunt lives, where his girlfriend lives, his best friend. Yeah, you probably should help him if you physically can. Welcoming in Dom. What's up, Dom?
What up, man? Had to get some food. I ain't completely finished, but I'm saying I had to get it in.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. I've been looking at a sandwich I've had sitting here like, should I eat this on air? I don't even blame you. But anyway,
you can eat it on air, Joanne. Then we'll have a combination of a review show and an eating show, and those do really well on YouTube. So there you go. Mukbangs, exactly. There you go, Joanne. Just have at it.
Wait, All in the Game is saying the same Stark that left multi-billion-dollar drone weapons are programmed to a 16-year-old. See, I view
facts.
Well, to be fair, I view it the same as I just explained the Doctor Strange situation. Again, it wasn't the issue of giving a child the tech. Because remember, it wasn't like Peter set all the drones in the world to destroy planet Earth. It was him just being irresponsible and giving it to somebody. So it's not like Peter used it wrong. So again, it's a situation of, hey, I believed in this kid enough to help him, and then he goes off and does some real irresponsible shit, and now I got to clean it up. So to me, I don't think that was irresponsible. I mean, because again, if you're trusting this kid with saving New York or saving Earth with you, fighting crime, I don't think giving him any amount of tech is any more dangerous than allowing him to fight crime every day in a spider suit. It's no more dangerous than that. So again, Peter being a child, yes, is what I would say is probably the biggest question mark when start giving him tech like that. But Joe, I'm gonna go to you. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I like the Watcher. I like that part. Other than that, this wasn't my favorite episode. To me, it was very, very like much like the 2002 Time Machine. That's all I kept thinking about when I watched this. I don't know if you've seen that. That was the one with Guy Pearce. It's basically the same premise. It's a paradox. So he proposes to a girl. She gets shot in the park. She gets killed. He becomes a hermit, and he spends every day trying to build a time machine, trying to fix it. And the fact of the matter is, because her death is what led him to build the time machine, she's always going to die because it's a paradox. If he saves her, he doesn't build a time machine. So it's the same premise. If she doesn't die, he doesn't go on to become the Sorcerer Supreme, and he just can't do that because he fights Dormammu. My issue with this is I felt so in the first Doctor Strange, the catalyst of him becoming Doctor Strange, of him going out to find the Ancient One and that way, was because he found somebody that was suffering, that he knew as a doctor was suffering from something where the guy shouldn't have been able to walk and the guy's playing basketball.
Right.
Rachel McAdams' character dying, I can't think of her name. Why can't I think of her name?
I can't either.
It was the whole
Christine Palmer. Yeah, I had to Google it.
So when Christine's dying, makes absolutely no sense why he goes out into, to find the Ancient One. It just doesn't make any sense. I get it though, because he is supposed to be who he is. So no matter what, he was supposed to go find the Ancient One. But I just didn't feel like her death was, what were we going to say?
No, I was just going to say, well, it was essentially the same thing. This actually makes more sense for him to go search for the Sorcerer Supreme than the movie did. Your hands broke, so you're looking for an alternate source of power?
Not an alternate source of power. He wants to be able to use his hands. He wants stability again.
No, what I'm saying is
tried everything.
Way more sense that a person dies and you want to figure out a way to try to bring them back than you avoiding physical therapy.
But how do you end up at Carmitage to do that? How do you, from her dying to ending up there? It makes sense how they did it in the movie. He broke his hands. He tried everything he could to figure it out. He remembers, he found out somebody that miraculously is walking now that should not have been walking again. Yeah. He would ask him, how did you do it? What treatment did you get? He didn't know the treatment was magic. He just want to know what treatment it was. He would have went anywhere to find out what that treatment was. Yeah. He told him where it was. He went to find the treatment. It's magic. That's how it becomes.
It could have been incense. He would have, he would have
went. Yeah, he would have went wherever it was. Yeah, like this.
I felt that there wasn't enough for me of enough of a catalyst for me for him to go out and find the Ancient One. And then again, it just didn't work for me. But I did in fact I love the Watcher. I love that scene. That was probably my favorite scene, almost I think of the series so far. I love the fact that we finally get somebody that can sense him, interact with him, and I love the way the Watcher handled it. I love the way he basically said, "No, I can't help you. I can't interfere." He does say something though. He does say, "I can't interfere unless." What was the unless part? I forget.
No, there was no unless.
I thought there was an unless.
He said I should warn him. He said I should warn him, but he said I should warn him, but he probably won't listen anyway.
That's what he said. Told Strange he couldn't do it unless it actually interfered with the multiverse or something like that. I forgot what he said, but even still. So it was not my favorite episode. And the other thing too. So what Tia said, it's true. Like she liked this relationship between him and Christine more than the one in the movie, but it made no sense because in the movie he treated her like shit. I was like, all right, well now all of a sudden he's like, not really pussy whip, but he was just like, oh my God, I'll do anything for you to come back, but it doesn't make sense. And that's not how you were the whole movie.
Right. Yeah.
It just
it is interesting that you pointed it out, Joe, because I was looking at a GIF comparison because there's that scene where Christine's like, there's in the movie, there's more to life than, just your work or something. Mm-hmm. And Strange is like, oh, what, like you? Mm-hmm. And like does like he was that like face it. He was really
Well, I
bad.
think that was also after his hands got completely crushed. He was pretty.
No, it's before that.
Even before that.
Before
No.
that.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I think that was
Before that.
before. He was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
His whole-
line
it's just
was
the-
after the
yeah.
hands thing, but his
Oh yeah,
the way
that's
he
how
treated her was
Yeah.
shitty.
The whole
Yeah.
episode just seemed off. And I get it. It's supposed to be a different
Universe.
version of that
Yeah.
that character, but just
Well, I look, you. I understand where you're coming from. You guys know when it comes to my superhero stuff, the whole love concept is literally the very last thing I could care about. So to me, I literally watched right by all of that. To me, it was just more so you're skipping right to it. This is why he's doing it. He loves her. Cool. Not a problem. How you got to that point was probably the least thing I was looking for. But no, I get what you're saying. It was kind of the idea of the motivations, how he got to where he was supposed to be. But it is like I think Trayvon said, it is the constant. You were always meant to be the Sorcerer Supreme. No matter if your hands broke, the woman you love died, the hospital you used to work at exploded, something was going to bring him there.
I think just the Ancient One was always looking, like watching him. That's what I think. I think the Ancient One leads him there all the time.
She can't interfere. She can't do anything to sway to get him there. She can't get involved.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess I'm just thinking of what was it, Endgame, where he was like, she already knew of him and everything.
No.
So she was waiting for him.
She's experienced time itself, so she knows he's destined to be. But she can't get him, because think about it, if she can get involved, she would have just showed up to him one day and said, hey, would you like to have an obscene amount of power and help save the world? And then she would have just showed him magic and he would have said, I'm in. So there is easier ways to get him there. But,
so if he's destined to be, then why is Christine the only variable of him becoming it then?
She's not. The first variable was him getting his hands destroyed.
Exactly. But I'm saying, so this time his hands is not doing it. It's her dying.
Because it's always like, I think the story is always like he has to lose something that was of great value to him. And because he loses that thing that's valuable, he's searching for a way to either like replace it or just like fill the void that was left there. So,
because remember, he says in this, he did not value going to that dinner or whatever that thing was where he was being honored.
Yeah.
In the movie, he would have 100% valued that, spending time with her, because he was super narcissistic.
Yes, he was.
So this was showing that she indeed was the greatest thing in his life. So losing her would have made him desperate enough to do whatever it takes to try to get her back, which would have gotten him to where he needed. Actually, Joe, and this is what I want people to think about when it comes to like a constant variable. Not you, Joe, just anyone listening. Think of Final Destination. Think of how the dude swapped it and the old man died instead. And he was just like, yes, I made it. And then the plane came and blew up the entire bar where he was in. He was destined to die. It did not matter when, where, how, or why. It was his time. He could not escape it. So Stephen becoming Doctor Strange was his version of that. No matter how, why, where, when, whatever, he was destined to be Doctor Strange. So the only difference in it was, well, I'm sorry, go ahead. Would you say, Trayvon?
I thought you were going to make a joke, but go ahead. Go ahead. I was talking about how many people were scarred by those movies. I know I was. Like the Final Destination movie.
Well, look, no one ever, and we're not going to get into this, but no one ever gives those movies credit. Everyone changes lanes.
Yes.
When a truck is in front of them, let alone a truck with beams, pipes, anything. Everyone instinctively knows switching lanes.
Absolutely.
I know we're not getting into it, but back when those movies were coming out, I think I was like in high school or maybe my early 20s, and like tanning was a thing. And the reason why I never went to a tanning bed was because of those movies.
Yeah.
Like, hell no.
That scene was pretty crazy. Yes. Mr. E says, I thought this episode was going to be based off of what if Doctor Strange became a disciple to Dormammu. but I was really surprised with what they done. Also, I like the creature designs too. All in the game tells us Christine was the name. Listener Jim, his ego was his life. All in the game says the Watcher's appearances are becoming more frequent with each episode.
Yeah, he finally came out this time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's more so for the viewers, for you guys to really understand how into this he is and how it's literally just I'm literally just here watching. Like I can only watch you. I can't do anything else. So it's to show you how invested he is, but still can't do anything. Hold on, let's see. But doesn't he eventually interfere at some point? In the comics, there were some points where he interfered, but it was the extreme, like literally the extreme. And what you have to remember is, in this only affected one universe. Where he usually gets involved is when it affects all universes. You don't want all universes to collapse. I don't think he'll interfere in this. I expect him to interfere when the Fantastic Four come around. Well, if you're being specific to when Galactus comes, then yes. But just when the Fantastic Four come around, no. Nothing they experience outside of Galactus is even remotely big enough to get Uatu involved. It's a different universe, so the relationship is different. Getting hung up on the movie being the same as this universe. And then he says he'll interfere eventually. Yeah, maybe, but technically we haven't seen Uatu be used prominently in the MCU outside of an end credit scene in Guardians. So I don't know if Kevin Feige has any interest in using Uatu again. Outside of just this, who knows? Maybe he does. I'm not saying he doesn't, but we've only seen Uatu once, and it was literally all the Watchers really, talking to Stan Lee. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Joe, you made some really good points. But like I said, the visuals of this episode were just amazing, and I don't think this is the last we will see of this Doctor Strange. Especially if the goal is to assemble a ragtag Avengers group. I do believe he will be involved in some way or another. And again, remember, we saw the same creature in this episode that we saw in the first episode.
Is that confirmed that it's the same thing?
Yeah, that's legit. Well, let me not say confirmed as in like Marvel announced it, but I mean, it looks like the same thing.
Yeah, no, I thought that's what I thought too. I thought it was
but no one's confirmed it.
Okay.
It looks like it's the same thing. So if it's not, bravo on them, because it looks just like it.
Yeah, no, it did look like the same thing.
Just like it.
Yeah.
But Jamie, I'm gonna go to you next. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I was really happy with this episode because I liked the T'Challa episode, but not as much as the first one with Peggy. And then the episode where all the Avengers died, I was very like so on. Like it wasn't bad, but I didn't find myself enjoying it as much as previous episodes. So this one brought it back for me. I really enjoyed it. And I actually wrote right onto my desk to make sure I didn't forget the things I wanted to talk about. Oh, so the fact that Doctor Strange's character changed, I thought was a good change, at least for me, because he was like a jerk in the first movie. So having to go back to that or go back to some semblance of that, I'd rather not. So I'm glad that they didn't do that. And that I also thought it was interesting that him and Christine actually had somewhat of a normal relationship this time around because truth be told, the whole Doctor Strange movie, the first one, is a complete blur to me. So much so to the fact where I'm like, was Christine in the first movie, or is this somebody they're bringing into What If? Who is this character? And then I look back to the Wikipedia, I'm like, oh yeah, she was there. So, and I feel like it was because the relationship was so weird and just, I don't know. It felt strange to me, but no pun intended. But this episode, I really enjoyed their relationship. Oh my gosh. My favorite scene of the episode has to be the deranged Strange versus Strange fight. That was so cool. And yeah, that's definitely brought back some of the action that I was missing in the second episode. And then the third, I thought the action was good, but it just didn't like, I don't know, maybe because all the scenes were like familiar, so it wasn't like something of a shock. But this was definitely super cool. And I'm hoping they can pull off another really good action sequence for the last two episodes. What
Wait, how
else?
many episodes are there?
I
I
thought
think
it was
there's
9.
oh, they're
I thought it
nine?
was. I thought it was 9.
Oh, I thought there were
That's what
six.
I thought.
Okay, I'd rather there be nine. Okay, we'll go with nine.
I think it's 9.
Don't break
Um,
our hearts like that.
sorry,
Scared the
sorry,
hell
my
out of me. You
mistake.
said only 2 left. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? 2?
My mistake. I
Jeez.
thought that we've been going with six this whole time, so I'm like, maybe there's only six. What else? I can't read what that says, but maybe I'll remember.
Wait, that what you wrote?
Yeah, I wrote it down on my desk, but like the pencil is smeared at this point. Um, yeah, I don't. We're if it's important, I'll remember later. And then I thought the like absolute point where like this absolutely has to happen is interesting because I don't know, it just being like a catalyst for other events to go off. And I also feel like I don't know, because I feel like every moment leading up to that should also be an absolute point if that event has to be an absolute point. Um, or I guess not necessarily because things can happen in different ways, but it was just interesting that they clearly defined like there are certain events that have to happen because that's what's in the timeline. So I'm curious as to like if they're going to introduce that to like the movies, like, oh, this is an absolute point, it had to happen, and whether it'll make its way into No Way Home. But yeah, other than that, this was like a really cool episode for me. The ending was pretty crazy, and I do agree with Tia, definitely had some like Infinity War vibes. And I'm really, really curious to see like if these things are gonna connect now, because it's just how would you connect this story to all the other ones? That's interesting.
Hold on.
Well, you said you're curious if they'll include absolute point in the MCU. It technically already exists. Thanos' snap was an absolute point. No matter what you do, that snap was going to happen. And it's why you kind of see that He Who Remains did not interfere in it. Quite like He Who Remains, you would assume, did not interfere in this. He Who Remains in Uatu did have some kind of relationship in the comics. So I am interested in knowing that a time stone was used. Time was manipulated over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I
was
wonder if
about to
this
say,
is what I wrote
okay.
down that was smeared or not.
But
But so the idea that there are absolute points, but if you have enough power that you can change them, that's another thing that's kind of interesting to me, because the links that Strange had to go to get the power to attempt to change it, only for like the universe to essentially end. I'm like, would it end every time you try to change an absolute point, or did he just do something wrong and it turned out horribly wrong? But yeah, that was another thing I thought about too.
Wait, say that again. You're saying was what Strange went through an absolute point?
So he got enough power to try to like change the absolute point so that Christine didn't die. But in the end, everybody ended up dying. So I'm wondering, did that count as changing the absolute point, or was he successful in changing it, but he just did something wrong to where everybody died?
No, because she still died. So if you changed it, she would have still been there with you and everyone else died. But it essentially was just a butterfly effect. To where it's like you keep messing with fate long enough. Like, all right, cool. You wanted to bring, let's say, your favorite cat back. Cool. Your cat's now alive. Now you're your dog. You know what I'm saying? Or, whatever the case may be. So it's the idea of fate. Fate wants someone. Someone's going. Whoever it is, someone has to fill that vacancy that fate has set out. So whether it's Christine or the entire universe, somebody's got to go. The only thing that made this kind of just like, well, damn, is that Fate had it both ways. Fate said, I'm going to take Christine and I'm going to take your universe. Go.
One thing that I thought was interesting, it looks like he was trying to put them in the mirror dimension at the end. That's what I thought he was trying to do when he was like, it was started, it started doing the thing like it did in the movie where it starts putting a mirror around all of them, like them. I thought that's what he was trying to do, put them both in there. So, because they said whatever happens outside of it doesn't affect what's going on inside. And I think that's what he was trying to do. So make sure Christine doesn't disintegrate like everybody else, but she kept disintegrating. I didn't understand that. I was like, wait a minute. So if you're in here, everything outside is not supposed to affect in here. Why did it keep happening? I didn't understand that. I was like, it looks like that's what he was trying to do.
Nothing.
He was successfully putting them in there, though.
Nothing stronger than Fate. Fate always triumphs. It's like in sports when they say Father Time, you can't beat it. At some point, Father Time does go. You can't dribble anymore. Like you have to stop.
Like put the ball down.
Right.
The game's over.
Down.
I thought he was gonna try to absorb the watcher. Honestly, I was waiting for him to try that.
That would have been funny to watch. That wouldn't have worked to his liking whatsoever. That would have been.
That'd have been cool. That would have been a moment.
I'm trying. That would have been a moment where Uatu kicked off his flip flops and started beating Doctor Strange's ass. You want to try to? Oh, you think you can take me? But no. I mean, it's the fixed point does exist. Like I said, with the Infinity Stones, with the snaps, those are moments that were supposed to happen. It's why we saw the TVA say, yeah, I mean, sure. Like when everyone asked, like, well, wait, doesn't the Avengers going back in time disrupt things? Why didn't the TVA come? TVA's point was, well, what ended up happening is what was supposed to happen. Thanos was supposed to be wiped away. The heroes were supposed to win. So that is literally, we've seen it happen 3 times actually in the MCU so far. There's just no name for it. We now have a name for it. So I think we'll probably see it more going forward, especially with this multiverse. There's probably a point to be made that what happened with Peter supposed to happen. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Again, I told you guys before, as I pass it to you, Dom. As I pass it to you, Trayvon, I'm gonna go to you last, Dom, because I have a question for you. Like I was saying before, Trayvon, I'm not leaning too much into where this connects into the actual MCU. I'm trying to enjoy What If for just what if. And then if I see things trickle into the MCU, cool. But it's way too much thought power. You guys have been around me long enough to know how much thought I put into this stuff. And it's just like, I don't have it in me. I don't. But Trayvon, you had some interesting takes on Twitter. I always check your Twitter after a major episode or movie, because I usually know where to start my frustration with you before we pod together. Like, okay, that's where he's at. All right, I can work it out of my system, and then when I come on, it's like, okay, I can listen without having to interrupt you. But what were your thoughts on this episode?
Okay, yes, at the beginning of it. Okay, I'm gonna start like this. I love the first Doctor Strange movie. I thought it was fun. I watched it plenty of times, had a great time with it. So for me, it threw me off at first. I was like, oh, they're so lovey-dovey now. What? I was like, wait a minute. Where's this arrogance? Where's the attitude? Where's the Sherlock Holmes that I remember? that's what I remember. I was like, where's that? I was like, okay, so they're all lovey-dovey now. Yay, okay. So now they're going. I didn't understand why he didn't understand. He got hit in the back. It wasn't him moving over, getting beside the truck. It's him getting back and getting hit in the back every time. I was like, why didn't you remember that's what happened? Somebody hit you in the back. Why did you keep getting in that same position to get hit? I
was confused why he went down the road again the second time.
Yeah,
I would not even. I was like, I would have stayed far away.
I was like, why would you? It's like he was like, oh, me getting over is what caused it. No, you getting hit in the back, what caused it? The car behind you did it. Like, I don't understand that. That part threw me off. I was like, why does he keep doing? Like 3 of those times he could have eliminated by not getting on that road again. I was like, this is stupid. So that was fine. Like I said earlier, I didn't understand how her dying leaded him to Kamar-Taj. I need to see that. Like, how did he even get from that point? Like, oh, she dying. Like, where do you even start to figure out how to bring her back? And how do you end up? It's not like you can find somebody. Oh, I know somebody that brought somebody back to life. Oh, okay, how
Yeah,
did you learn how to do that?
that's a
And
good
then
point.
send me the
He could have
karmatage.
he could have followed the same steps he followed when his hands were broken, and it just
Oh,
led him to somebody that could help him find a way to do what he needs to do. I mean, because think about it. As a human, we know there's no way to bring back somebody who's died. So I think it was more so he probably followed the same steps, and it led him to the same spot.
Maybe because like he heard that like this guy miraculously was able to walk in. Well, like maybe they can perform more miracles, and that's why he went with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he probably followed the same step. Like, I get what you're saying. It's a stretch from my hands don't work to I'm literally bringing a dead person back to life. But you can follow the same yellow brick road and get to the same spot, but you can follow it for different reasons. So I'm just saying, yes, I get you. It's a stretch. Yes, for sure.
yeah, it is.
Everything about this universe is a stretch, but he could have followed the same logical steps from the movie and got to the same spot, but obviously for different reasons.
I guess. Okay. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm just going to suspend my belief here. Fine. He figured out how to get karmatized, become Sorcerer Supreme. Cool. The other 3 episodes made some kind of sense on how it happened. Like, you know, she gets it just made sense. He gets picked up instead of Peter Quill. That stuff makes sense. This didn't make sense on how he got there, but it's fine. It's been my belief. Cool, whatever. So, you know, we got him absorbing all these creatures and stuff and getting more and more powerful. I didn't understand. And when he was fighting regular Doctor Strange, why was regular Doctor Strange able to block him or even fight him in general? I was like, how, like, if you're so powerful, you absorb all these magical beings, how is this regular Doctor Strange even like handle you at all?
So
Like,
in
how
the
did
show,
Wait, you
which
missed
it was a little bit confusing, but in the show, I think they said that because what's her name?
The split ancient one.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
ancient one split them, the
Yeah.
power was split between the two. So
Well,
I'm
no.
kind of
he didn't
confused.
do that stuff yet, though, right?
No,
He
no,
didn't
no, 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 no,
absorb
no,
all
no,
that
no,
stuff yet.
no.
But
He was able
okay.
to stand his ground because she gave him a spell. Remember, that's why he kept swiping
That's what it
away the
was?
spell. Yes, it was
That
a
was a
spell that
protection.
was-
It was a protection.
Yeah, I thought it
one,
was a
not a
protection
fighting.
thing.
No,
It
no,
was.
magic is magic. Look, at the end of the day, he overpowered him because he was stronger. So it still worked out to what you're saying, but
I
he
thought
lasted.
Wong gave the protection spell.
He did.
Yeah, Wong gave
Right,
him
he
the
did.
protections.
He did. Oh, Wong did. I'm sorry.
They
Yeah.
did it together. They kept putting all symbols in the
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
doing
Right.
it
push it
together.
on his face.
Right,
Wong's
but we have
fading.
to also
Wong's like half fading away and helping him
Right.
out.
right. We have to also remember he is still a sorcerer supreme. He's still powerful. He's not as powerful as this alternate version of him is, which is why he lost. But he is strong enough to withstand 5 minutes of a combat with
Yeah, I
him.
didn't have an issue with that.
Yeah,
But the other thing
if the
is
regular
like,
Strange had won, then I would agree with you. Of like, well, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
but in
but-
the show they said like that because they were split, like they both were like sharing power or whatever. I think that's what I might have to watch it again, but I thought that's what I heard. So that's why I thought he struggled for so long. But then it also, if
If they were
he was
sharing, it
able
makes
to
sense.
like overcome him, why did he need his power unless he was just trying to take all the power? I don't know.
Got greedy.
Well, he
I
needed the
guess.
power because that was what was helping fuel the spell he was trying to cast to bring her back. He needed to be stronger. But again, as far as him being able to withstand it, remember, Strange went toe to toe against Thanos, and it took Thanos through a dark hole, a black hole at Strange, and he turned it to butterflies. Like, Strange is powerful. He's not some kind of weakling. He's very powerful. But again, like I said, he lost. So it made sense as to why he lost. He wasn't as strong as Strange Supreme. But again, he needed that power to achieve his goal. That was the whole thing he kept setting out for. I need to be stronger. There has to be an alternate power out there that that can give me the ability to bring her back and it stick, rather than I bring her back for 4 seconds and then fate wipes her out again. So that's why he kept yearning for power. was to be strong enough to be able to bring her back and keep her. But go ahead, Trayvon.
No, I'm gonna stop because I feel like I'm just being negative. So it's cool. The fights were cool. The badger was cool. Nice. I read him. He needs to open the portal and jump to another universe and hopefully see him again. All right, that's it. Go ahead. Whoever's next.
You can say what you're
No,
gonna say.
I don't want to get attacked. No.
You're not getting attacked. What did you want to say?
Not for you guys. When you post this clip, because I know that's what you're gonna do.
I don't post clips from our lives. You only have to worry about that if you say that Friday.
Okay.
Then I'll clip you.
Okay.
But no, Mr. E says, do we think this Strange Supreme can beat Scarlet Witch? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know how powerful. We have not seen how powerful she is yet. We haven't really seen her go up against somebody that matches her strength.
Oh, and I want to say one more thing. They say the thing that threw me off was he was absorbing for centuries. Like, how many things did he absorb?
Oh,
I was like, wait
thing,
a minute.
the black dude that was there, the fact that he was able to still be alive and say, yeah, you've been doing this for centuries. I'm like, how are you alive? What do you mean you've been absorbing for centuries? How are you still here?
I love how Jamie's just like, yeah, that strange stuff, cool. You, how are you still here to be telling me this? Like,
I was thinking like maybe he was an immortal being, but he was old and like he looked like he was getting ready to go. So I'm like, how?
Wasn't Wong still alive too? Didn't Wong start like dripping goop and everything?
Before
I think that was like he went back to go get the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Went back one more time. Yeah.
Because I was trying to also like think of how that was.
You were trying to create immortals, Tia? Is that what you were trying to do? You're trying to create immortals out here?
Maybe. Who knows?
So the ancient one split the time stone into two. Just thought about that as well. So the ancient one used.
No. So the other Doctor Strange didn't have the Eye of Agamotto, just the bad one.
No, he had it in his hand. Remember, he put it down. He had it in his hand. He was looking at it.
You're right. No, that was, but that was the. You're right. That was when he's right. When
they both had it.
When they went back, and Wong says, "I'm going to go put a kettle of tea up," and that's when.
But they were two different access points.
Yeah, there's
split the beat.
I'm just. So
they shared.
Yeah, you're right.
They shared.
Maybe that's what they were saying with the shared power. Then maybe.
Yeah, because at that time when she split them, Jamie, they were at the same power level, and then the evil Strange or Strange Supreme went and got that absurd amount of power, and then that's when it was just like, no, you can't beat this guy. You missed your opportunity. That was a long time ago. But Dom, what were your thoughts, man, on this episode?
It was all right, man. This was my favorite. I did kind of, as everyone was talking, I did kind of come to terms why this Strange was different, because if losing his heart is what drove him to this point, I guess he had to be more of heart as a person in this alternate universe. So that kind of like clicked for me, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to see if he was going to spiral the way he did to try to, become power hungry. I kind of wanted him to bring her back, her be terrified of how he looks and be rejected, and then him kind of go into this whole like villain type of thing, rather than just like, well, no, like, hold on. And then he changes back a little bit. You're like, no, you're supposed to stay a monster. You fucked up. Stay a monster because that's what you are. I mean, I like the time travel, and it's funny because I had just watched some Doctor Who on Sunday, and there was an episode where like Tennant's doctor is going against the Master, and there was like a paradox machine, and it's funny that kind of played into the same kind of episode. But I mean, yeah, this one, it was cool. It's probably at the bottom of my list of all the rest of them. Like, I don't know, it needed something. There was something missing. I don't want to say it's because I don't like Doctor Strange, because I do, but I don't know, man. His stories are just not. If there's not something super crazy happening, or a big intimidating being that he's going against, his story just kind of is lackadaisical a little bit, and that partially because he is supposed to watch and only interact with certain things, so maybe that's why it's not as exciting. But I mean, there were some good things. I mean, of course, it looked great. I was kind of thinking like if you were, absorbing this power for centuries and you didn't shower, what do you smell like? I don't know.
Maybe
man.
that's why that black dude died. He's like, oh my god. he was like, his hair was black, he was all young, and then he came out and the stench just aged him. He's like, oh.
That's what Christine was dying from.
Yep.
But yeah, it could have been better. I don't know what else they could have done really, but it should have had him try the Watcher. He should, instead of talking to him, he should have been like, "What's good? Like, you're not gonna help, or I'm gonna help myself to you," and then kind of have a little small something. I needed something extra, but I do see what they're trying to do. But if you're gonna have him descend into madness, I need him to go full villain and not just because we've all seen like where they have a goal, something small. I want to save this person or do this thing, and then they transform into something completely opposite. And that evil Strange isn't that far from where he normally is. You know what I mean? He just had he looked different, but he is kind of, you don't really know, is he have the best intentions all the time and what's he gonna do? That's why I think the Ancient One always watches him. She don't fully trust him because he's kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool.
I think it is important to remember he's not a villain. His goals were never anything more than just to bring back the woman he loved. Like, he wasn't just randomly just going out just murdering people. It was the idea of he wanted to bring her back, and he wasn't going to let anyone stop him from bringing her back. But he never really became a villain, and I think we will see him again as part of the heroes, because I think this is a lesson learned. Kind
of like Wanda when she exploded when she didn't mean to the town. Kind of like that.
She's never a villain.
She didn't mean to, but she's still kind of a villain.
No, because again, remember when she at the last episode where she snapped out of it and she saw what she was doing, she felt horrible. She didn't know what she was doing. She kept saying, "What is wrong with y'all? Like, why do y'all keep doing this craziness?" And again, remember, she made that guy disappear, but she didn't kill him. She just transported him out of the hex. So Wanda in that point was just never a villain. She just wanted to be with I almost said man she loved, with the android she loved. And she wasn't going to let anyone stop her from being with the android that she loved.
Wait, what man are you talking about?
The beekeeper.
I was saying Vision, but Vision's not a man.
Oh, I'm about to say the beekeeper we never saw again.
Yeah, we never see it. What happened to
him? They weren't going to show. It's such an irrelevant character. They weren't going to show you him again, but we can assume she just transported him back out of the hex.
Or killed him.
Or kill him.
She spent the whole series throwing people out of the hex, and you guys are just like, that's the one random guy she just decided to kill. What? Remember when she came out of the
She really didn't like that he was, messing with her vibe. So she was like, no, you cease to exist.
Stop. But what I'm saying is
exactly.
But what wouldn't make sense about that is, remember when she grabbed the drone and then came out? She literally could have killed everybody right there and ended it right there.
Yeah.
So she didn't do
that. She doesn't have to justify herself. One minute she feels like murder, the next minute
exactly.
She doesn't.
It's fine. We still love her. It's fine.
We still love her.
Still love her. I don't care. Like, she get
what a great moment for Patrick to come in on.
Well, I love all you ladies here tonight.
Oh, so. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Patrick's like, I hope that the murder they're talking about is not me.
We were plotting it. I mean, look, you came in at the wrong time. So.
Hey, do not talk about KJ that way. All right, come on.
No.
All right, I'm gonna make sure I edit that out. No.
Hey, dude, I'm the first witness. Don't come on.
Everybody's
suspect, as it were.
everybody's had their go patches, so you came at the perfect time. What were your thoughts on this crazy episode?
Well, you know what? First off, it felt like a very Twilight Zone episode. Like I'm talking like Cy Sperling, like old school Twilight Zone for me. It was God, it was really hard, and like that. I guess they're going back to like the repeated like history and everything else, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And like it really was the definition of insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, it was just like, oh, all right, just keep coming with it. And there were a few things for me. I felt it was, it was very, there was one point where Strange was absorbing the powers and everything else, and at one point it looked like Doc Ock, if like if no one had said that yet. Coming into the new Spider-Man movie and whatnot. Also, if you saw, if you saw like the mask and everything that was going on too, it looked like Doom a little bit as well, if you think about that. So I mean, there was just a lot of stuff to unpack about that, but the coolest part about that was the fact that this was the first episode that it ended because the universe ended.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool. Where do you go from here? And
Right.
the other one thing, if no one else has said it yet, was that he acknowledged the Watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like, who's that? It was like, all right, that's awesome.
Did that.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone said that yet. If I'm regurgitating, that's my bad. But
no, you're
cool.
absolutely good. You're absolutely good. I mean, it was a huge moment. He's strong enough. He's powerful enough to where he could see Uatu. That's
right.
That's great. I mean, the only person that we know that's ever been able to see Uatu is Stan Lee. Outside of that, we've so far in this MCU vortex we're in is what I'm speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen anyone else literally look at Uatu and converse with him. So yeah, this is the second time we've seen it. Again, if people want to take the Stan Lee thing more as a joke and not count it, no problem. It makes this the first. I won't argue it because it was meant to be more so of a joke. So we could say this is the first time someone is powerful enough to kind of see through the universe and look at the guy. Because like I think what this was trying to showcase was Uatu isn't literally standing on Earth, like right behind you. Like he's literally like light years in outer space looking down. So if you're powerful enough to look through and see him, then that is something pretty awesome. Because I know a lot of people on Twitter were just like, that's so weird that no one else on Earth sees him. And I'm like, well, he's not on Earth is why no one else sees him. Like he's not just like I think a lot of people view Uatu as the floating head in Rick and Morty, and that's not what Uatu is. Like that's not what Uatu is at all.
I guess it's better than Pickle Rick,
show me
right?
what you got.
Yeah, like Uatu, just show me what you got, Strange. Yeah. Now
I was gonna say Pickle Rick, but that's me.
I kind of want to see that alternate episode where Wong and Strange have to create a song, save Earth. But no, I mean, I will say the different looks that you were describing, Patches. The showrunner for What If did say there were rules that they could not break for season 1, and those rules specifically were can't use anybody that has not been shown in the MCU up to this point. Because Feige doesn't want anyone thinking this is the introduction to Doom, or this is the introduction to anyone. So they could only use stories and characters that exist already in the MCU, just so Feige doesn't have to double down on, well, no, technically that's not. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to have to kind of double back. He's already doing it in the MCU now, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do it too much more than that. Wait, I did want to bring up something in the comment section that was hilarious. Listener Jim Tia says, last week Jamie was hiding something under her covers. Now Tia has something under those blankets.
What do I have? There's
It's a
nothing.
pillow.
It's a pillow. No, not nearly as suspicious as Jamie. Which, by the way, it's looking now again like there's something mysterious there, Jamie.
I mean, that is true. That is.
I mean,
One of these weeks.
that would be a very skinny individual with just a little bit of a slope in
That
the
is
head.
true. They're
That's
just
all I'm
heads.
saying.
That's all they are. They're just.
I
heads.
mean, I don't know who it is, but that's a straight up six pack. I'm telling you right now.
Has to be. One of these days, somebody on here has to actually like pull back the covers, and there is somebody.
Gotta
I mean,
find
come on.
a really
You have
small
to.
friend. Be like, I want you to hide in my bed for like at least 30 minutes or so. Don't worry, you'll come out later.
I actually nominate like Patrick. He could have KJ hiding behind the Captain America, like what the, you know what that thing is?
The
there.
Stand
stand
up.
Yeah. Just have her like pop out in the middle.
just
of it.
posing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 more comments before I go to you, Ryan. All in the Game says the writers having he's talking back to when we were talking a little bit about WandaVision. The writers having Monica tell Wanda, quote, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them in the final episode was ridiculous. I disagree. Wanda did sacrifice a lot. At that point where Monica was telling that to her, she had literally let go of the reality that she had built. Where she had children, where she had a husband, and essentially she knew at that point none of it was real. She had to let it all go. Obviously, after that conversation is where she actually sees her kids and Vision actually go. But it was her mentally understanding none, because again, she was living this thinking all of it was real. So it was the idea of letting go of it. And again, she lost Vision. Like she did lose Vision well before this moment. Losing him, in Infinity War was pretty difficult.
Right.
Everyone lost a lot after Endgame. So what she sacrificed essentially was her happiness. So the world could exist, so the rest of New Jersey could exist. So I get it. I understand why the writers put that in there. And that was probably the only bit of dialogue I truly loved in that episode was the idea of they'll never know. As heroes, they never do.
I still have I still want them to explain how Agatha's gonna stay the nosy neighbor after she pulled the hex down. Like if you could do that, why can't you make some more stuff stay? I don't know. Like I just feel like she can keep that facade going.
We have
Why
to
not
wait for
more?
Doctor Strange too. I'm pretty sure she will try to make some more stuff stay. I believe she's going to generate actual physical children that stick. So yeah, she's going to be doing some more really creepy things in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah. Who's the dad going to
Interesting.
be?
Instead of just like having kids, just like I need to conjure children. No actual having kids. Let me make magical children.
Yeah. Look, she probably saw somebody actually give birth and said, I don't want none of that.
I don't blame her.
I don't blame her.
Focus children.
I don't blame
Like-
She said that's supposed to happen to me.
Yeah, like
No.
I can picture her sitting talking with friends, and they were just like, "So, like, how was childbirth for you?" And she was just like, "Childbirth? I don't know what that is. I didn't have
It is great. I did that. I snapped my fingers.
she said, I said hocus pocus, and my kids were 15. I didn't have to go through any of that. All right, we got a few more comments, Ryan. This from listener Jim. I still say Uatu talking to Strange blows up the I can't interfere point by telling him as such he interfered. No, that's not really an interference. Interference is what he said, which is literally coming in and stopping what Strange was doing. The fact that he didn't do that is him holding up to, I can't interfere. It's the same thing as the Ancient One. When the Ancient One was watching the Battle of New York, she was literally just saving her building. She didn't give a damn about the rest of New York. Why? Because she couldn't interfere. She had to just sit back and go, well, I hope they can get this job done, because I'd hate to have to move to Sanctum Sanctorum. So you can interact. You just can't physically stop whatever is happening. All right, the last comment is All in the Game says she held thousands hostage and tortured them. Yeah, but she didn't do it purposely. That's the point I think people keep forgetting. Wanda didn't one day just say, you know what? I hate people. I'm going to torture you and lock you in this sphere so you can't get out and you're my puppets. When she realized what she was doing, she immediately felt horrible. She thought someone was messing with her. When they were all surrounding her, she was just like, whoa, where is this coming from? It's like, Wanda, look what you did.
I think she knew what she did from the beginning. I think she was trying to act like she didn't know. I'm sorry.
I don't think she knew.
I think she did the whole time.
What?
She wanted to go with it. I understand why she would want to go with it.
But you saw the inception of it at the end. You saw it literally was her just having a full breakdown and it manifesting into this new reality.
Yeah, I get
breakdown or temper tantrum.
It could be a temper tantrum, but it wasn't a temper. Like what I'm trying to say.
All right, yeah, I said that in jest. She lost the
like
one
blocked it
person
out
she ever
completely.
loved.
Right. I mean, look, if you want to say down the line, she was kind of just like, this is pretty cool. I'm going to hold on to this.
Yeah.
Sure. But I don't think she held on to it knowing that she was mentally torturing everybody that was in that town. I don't think.
I didn't. Yeah.
That's all I'm speaking to. I'm not saying she didn't know what she was doing at some point. At some point, she had to have gone, my kids went from 2 to 15 really fast. Like,
right.
Something is weird here. So yeah, I do believe at some point she wanted to continue it, but I don't think it was because I don't think she was torturing people on purpose.
Well, she clearly did like the biggest, worst thing you can ever do was like allow an animal to get killed in the movie. So, like poor Sparky.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Agatha did it.
That
doesn't matter. Wanda made up made the dome, and that happened. So that's all Wanda's fault.
Well, All in the Game.
Agatha had magic.
All in the Game does say maybe Wanda should take responsibility. Wanda did take responsibility at the end. If you mean responsibility, like she should have willingly went to jail, I don't think anybody.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
I can tell you,
deserve the flower.
If I had that power and I did that, and the only thing I could say was, oops, my bad, and then I could leave legally.
Not touching.
I would do the same thing. Are you serious?
I mean, she did like essentially exile herself. She went into like the mountains and everything. Right. She put herself in like outside
prison.
jail.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you think for a second, I would go, you know what? Arrest me. No.
Yeah,
Oh my God, this scared
She's
me.
in
Tom
house
just
arrest.
opening up the.
Oh.
I didn't even notice it until you guys said something. I was just like, oh okay.
Closet. I thought that was a closet.
Jawan,
this whole entire
Peter
time.
kind of did that. Peter did exactly that. Peter was arrested. He was in handcuffs. You know damn well he could have ripped those cuffs off.
What, Peter Parker?
Yeah. In No Way Home, the trailer.
Yeah, but I think
I mean, he's
think
nowhere strong. He's nowhere on the level of Wanda. I get what you're saying, but I mean, he allowed himself to get arrested.
Well, also think of it like this. Peter is trying to prove his innocence.
Yeah.
A way to disprove your innocence is to break out of the handcuffs and run away. Wanda understood she was guilty. She just felt sorry for being guilty. It had no aspirations to going for it. She's been to the raft. She does not enjoy it. She was not looking to go back.
Oh, they could never hold her there now. Ha-ha.
Yeah, and I was about to say, if I had God level powers, no way I'm letting you arrest me. You crazy? All right. Let's see.
I was gonna say, not to mention she was held by Hydra too, so she is not one to be prisoner.
Yeah, she's not a fan of it, which will be really awesome if she ever meets her dad, and he's just like, I was not fond of prison either. All right, last one here is Mr. E says, I don't know if this has been brought up yet, but for what if, what I guess he's saying what timelines do you want to see in what if? He's saying he would like to see what if Ultron was a good guy.
Vision?
What, and then Vision
No,
becomes then
No, he
Vision
means
becomes
Ultron.
bad?
No, he means literally if what Stark was trying to do worked, is what I think he's saying.
Okay.
Because remember, Stark's whole purpose was to retire the Avengers by building Ultron for him to. Well, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't going to be
robot everywhere, right?
Right.
Shield around the world.
Everywhere.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
That would have backfired.
Shield of Honor.
iRobot.
Shield of Honor.
iRobot.
iRobot.
Well, that's essentially what happened. That's a really cool concept. I personally don't have a what if. All my what ifs, very funny, are for other worlds. Like I have a million what ifs for Star Wars, a million what ifs for DC. For Marvel, everything is literally just right there. There's nothing really in Marvel that I'm ever like, well, what if blah blah blah.
What if we actually had the Fantastic Four by now? That would be nice.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Mm.
What if Disney cared about the sequel trilogy?
Oh, nice.
Wait. Which sequel trilogy? Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Oh, don't get me started. Anyway, does anybody else have a what if from the MCU?
I like that one. I like the Ultron one. I do like that one.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it retires the Avengers. Stark's plan worked. So if Ultron was a good guy, Stark's plan would have worked. I would have also liked to have seen what Stark would have named him if it worked. Because remember, Ultron named himself. So I'm curious, what would he have named him?
Jarvis Jr.
Jarvis Jr. That is true. When I say he forgot about Jarvis so fast, he just created Friday like the next day and was just like, Jarvis who? Oh yeah. Vision, you mean? Oh, okay, yeah. Cool, whatever. He did not really get hung up on Jarvis at all, which is really messed up. Jarvis is within the family. But anyway, is there any?
What if like Hydra had succeeded in their plans?
Like during Winter Soldier?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say Winter Soldier. I was thinking kind of more, I don't know, I guess right when they started introducing the twins and they were starting to unfold their plan, I guess that would be more like Age of Ultron, wouldn't it?
No, because remember, they were literally the first 5 minutes of that movie, and then that was it.
Yeah, I guess you would say Winter Soldier then, yeah. Because
Doctor Strange would have died then.
Say it again?
They were going to kill Doctor Strange in Winter Soldier. That was one.
No,
of
you can go earlier. Yeah. Captain America 1.
Oh, you're saying
Red Skull hadn't died. Yeah, maybe that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if Red Skull had won. And that's interesting. Trayvon, yours is interesting because that would have been interesting to see if the Ancient One got involved at that point. Because I don't know. It's never been said if she had a backup plan for if Steven didn't become Doctor Strange. Because it clearly wasn't going to be Baron Mordo. She was just like, hell no. If you think I don't trust Strange, I damn sure don't trust Baron Mordo. So it would have been interesting to see what if Doctor Strange, what if Steven never became Doctor Strange? What would the Ancient One's plan be? I'm sorry, go ahead, Tia.
What if the Guardians of the Galaxy hadn't defeated Ronan? I just really want to see more Ronan. Okay, don't come at me.
I thought that's where you're coming from. But the only thing, well,
what if Ronan would have won the dance off?
Well, to me, the answer to that would have been
were just that good.
The answer to that would have been Captain Marvel would have gotten involved because she fought Ronan the first time.
Yeah.
So she just would have had to fight him again, which would have been interesting seeing Ronan with the stone versus Captain Marvel.
So here's
essentially
really quick. This is what I have in my head. So Ronan pops out like a cardboard box, puts it on the floor, and just busts out some really cool moves. Some oh my god, like why am I blanking?
He literally starts like twirling on his head.
By the way,
break dancing. Yeah, he starts break dancing and he wins.
By the way, I think we also need to mention. Oh, Patches, you're muted. I think we also need to mention Ronan never lost that dance battle. Like Peter was just dancing amongst himself.
I know. That was.
I mean, come on, like Running Man,
But he didn't move.
Apple
I
in the
mean,
cart.
submission
Come
of
on.
defeat.
He had no
Didn't even
moves.
try.
It's just
That's
that
like
Ronan
going to a
knew
race
that
at
he
the
had
starting
some-
line and the race
he had some
starts and you
dance
just
moves
stand up.
He
Ronan
had some
never
dance
accepted
moves that were
that.
really
Come on,
gonna
guys. I mean,
defeat
like,
him.
Oh Lord, no.
come on, let's do the sprinkler. Come on.
Yeah, all right. So Patches,
Come on.
Patches wants to dance.
Yeah,
off.
I did it. I did it. Accept it.
great.
It's fine.
That's great.
Those are the moves that he was busting out in high school when people
Right.
were like, "Want to do a dance off?"
Hey, Tia, that actually was like the dance move when I was in high school. So shush.
Mr. East says, "What if Spider-Man joined Captain America in Civil War?" I don't think it would have changed all that much. I don't think it really would have really changed anything drastically.
The New York City boys teaming up. You never know, man.
Brooklyn
you
and
never know.
Queens.
Brooklyn
Well, no.
and Queens
Together.
uniting.
Well, no, the reason why I said it wouldn't have changed
Oh.
anything is Captain America at the end of the day won. So
Yes, he did.
it wouldn't have changed anything. He won.
As
He
should.
literally said, "Hey, I know who killed your parents. So what? Get over
Yeah,
it. This is
exactly,
my
yeah.
friend."
He did not say
Yeah,
get
but then
over it.
You wouldn't have you
He
wouldn't have the
said-
Tony.
He said,
I
"I'm
knew him
sorry."
longer.
He
Sorry.
said, "I'm sorry," and then almost murdered Stark. That is
And that's
essentially
fine.
get over
That's
it.
fine.
He
It's
was
absolutely fine.
protecting himself against Stark, who
Exactly.
attacked first.
It would have affected
Exactly.
Tony's
Stop
and Peter's
Exactly.
relationship, though, wouldn't it? If he would have went
Yeah,
with
he wouldn't
Cap,
have. Iron Man would have wanted to be his mentor.
Iron Man would have been like, "Oh, I'm not going to
Yeah.
give you suits. Forget about it. You're not. You're all. you're on your
go
own."
to Steve Rogers,
Oh,
and Steve
yeah.
Rogers like, I don't have money.
Right. If
He's
what,
like, here, what an old shield.
what you're
I was a
saying,
kid from
A frisbee.
Brooklyn.
if what you're saying
Back
Joe,
in my day.
is the overall arc of Peter, sure. But I thought Mr. E was just speaking specifically of Civil War. And in that vein, it wouldn't have really changed anything. I mean,
That could be interesting though, because you could have it go down that pipeline and like maybe Rhodey doesn't get shot out of the sky. Spider-Man becomes Spider America. We don't have Falcon become.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
what
Oh
if
God,
Falcon
I don't
got
want
Yeah.
Spider
shot down?
America.
yes, Anthony
No,
Mackie would be out of a
no.
job. Yes,
Absolutely
okay,
not.
Yes.
Absolutely
That's
not.
what it. That's what
Iron Man deserves to die.
Nope, you can't get any better than that. That's what
Oh my
if-
god.
that is the best.
What if
So glad
what if
Iron Man
Steve
died.
Rogers never went back in time and instead him and Sharon stayed together?
Mm.
Well, you know what? I guess I can't have. I guess I can't have best of both worlds. I can't have a world where there's no Sharon and no Anthony Mackie. So I'd
Well,
rather
what if Jeremy Renner actually shot Thor in the
That
first
would be
movie?
really-
What if Jeremy Renner jumped instead of Natasha?
He
There you
tried.
go.
He tried.
Oh,
He
boo.
What if
tried.
Natasha
He
didn't
tried.
prevent him?
Sorry, Tia. Sorry, Tia. Literally, the
Right.
writers went, "Who is the most useless here?" And it's like
The most useless, I would say Mephisto.
Okay, Ryan. So you have not gone yet, Ryan. You are more than welcome to go ahead and tell me your thoughts on this episode. Of
Yes.
I know I haven't chimed in on a lot of the what ifs so far, but I've actually loved them all. The only one that was a little off for me was the T'Challa one because I had a like the Thanos part of it. I was just like, really, would he have come over? You know, it's just so that one was a bit rough for me. But I love this one. I know it might get a lot of hate from this particular group, but this almost felt like a story that Zack Snyder might have done. It's the first time, other than maybe Infinity War, where I really feel like something in the Marvel universe just ended on this really dour, I can't believe that just happened kind of note. And I mean, it was really just, I mean, heavy material. I couldn't believe that they went as far as they did, because usually Marvel's like, but everything's fine now. And, it's a happy story for the most part until we get to the next one. But this one really was unexpected. I did not see it going this way. And I have one thing that I want to pose out to you guys, and I don't know who are the gatekeepers of time and reality at this point, because I always like it in comic book structures. Like I even think back to like the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, for example, when they had like the Beyonder and Madam Web, and that was kind of like a structure there. But then when you go beyond that, it's just like, okay, well, we have someone who's messing with time. We've got a guy who's watching all this stuff. We got another person who can mess it up any which way he wants to because he has control of magic and he can see the watcher. I like some semblance of structure, and I feel like this one opened up like anyone can mess with pretty much anything. And I don't know if that's a good thing or if like the casual fan is going to be able to follow all of that.
Well, it's supposed to symbolize that all hell broke loose.
Right.
From after Loki, yeah, literally anyone has the ability, if they're powerful enough, to mess with time itself. And by the way, if there's anything I hate more than Anthony Mackie, it's Madam Web. So I'm
really?
when you said that.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
aren't they making a Madam Web?
Yeah, I look. I hope we get.
How they gonna get Tom over there?
I hope we get teleported to a different reality before that ever happens. It's the stupidest concept is Madam Web. Like, what? Stupidest character. Yeah. Anyway,
but do you see kind of my point though? Like, for example, like you could say in that structure, why didn't so and so intervene with Doctor Strange while he's going down this dark path? Why didn't like Wanda get involved and like try and stop him? Like, there's all these like what ifs to the what if that get involved. Well,
I actually can break down every question you just had there. Wanda didn't get involved because she's somewhere sipping tea, minding her business. The TVA didn't get involved because Kang doesn't really care what's happening outside of whatever he's in. And Uatu can't get involved. So those are really your gatekeepers that are kind of just looking at you going, I don't really care enough. Because remember, all Doctor Strange in this episode did was destroy his reality. Not all of reality, just his personal reality. So Uatu would have gotten involved if all of reality was on the line. That's
so is that what he says? Is that the line he says that I was talking about? I only interfere if it affects everyone. Is that what he
Yes, it has to. That's why I said if we see Uatu in the MCU, it'll be around when
I think Galactus, he did say that, and that's what I heard.
Right, it'll be around when Galactus comes. Gotcha. That's when you get Uatu, and that's when he has to actually get involved because it's like he could devour an entire universe. Like we have to stop him. So that's
is this his reality or his universe? Because I thought Uatu said it was his universe. They had to split and all that stuff.
It's his universe.
It's universe. Yeah.
It's his universe.
He destroy his universe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I watched.
That's my thing.
Like, well, this is just one. I don't care about the one.
Wouldn't more people care about the universe ending? I guess that's my whole thing. Like, if you know Thanos is a threat, you take down Thanos. If you know that Doctor Strange is off his meds, like you go and take down Doctor Strange. Like I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's what He Who Remains said. No, that's not the case. Some of these events are supposed to happen. It's why he was more so hands off. Thanos was supposed to happen. All of those events, as crazy and sad as they were all supposed to happen. And I think if you're Uatu, your focus is all of the universes, not just one singular one. So you were kind of just like, well, this one can go.
I got a quick question for you. Is Sylvie now supposed to happen? Is Sylvie supposed to kill He Who Remains?
We won't know. We won't know yet. That's to be determined. We have no idea. Like Thanos, we couldn't have answered that in Infinity War. We can answer that now because we know the sacrifices that had to be made in order to actually win. So now we can say, yeah, Thanos was supposed to happen. We won't know Sylvie's effect till I'd say at least the next 3-4 movies that involve the multiverse, to where we see how they wrap that up, to see how that kind of solves itself, and maybe even going into season 2 of Loki. So maybe that's where we'll get our answer on that. But as of now, I can say, I don't think anyone knows. I can say it damn sure has consequences right now. But whether or not it was for the greater good, who knows? We have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But shout out to Rachel McAdams for coming back to do Christine Palmer.
Right.
I just want to see more of her. And I'm really hoping Doctor Strange too. She has a bigger impact in the story. So, yeah, big fan of
Yep.
hers.
Well, and can we actually talk about like all the voices aside from RDJ and Chris Evans? I mean, like everyone has come back for What If. I mean,
Not
like
Tom.
how?
Not
What's
Tom.
that?
Not Tom. The Spider-Man that we see isn't voiced by Tom.
All right, sorry. 3 of
Close enough.
how?
Black Widow either, right?
Yeah,
I'm
Black
sorry.
Widow wasn't either.
Over
Nebula.
75%.
All right, guys.
Nebula.
All right, come on. No, that was
That was Karen Gillian.
Yeah, that
I thought Nebula was a Nebula.
No, that was Karen
Gillian.
Gillian.
It was?
It wasn't
it's
Drax.
Gillen,
It
young
wasn't
man.
Drax.
Do not disrespect my Scottish girl.
So is it Gamora that's not Gamora's not voiced by what do you call it? Zoe Saldana.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, no, she's not. Gamora.
Yeah, she
I knew
hasn't
it was
been
one
in
of
yet,
them.
but yeah, so Dave Bautista has not been in.
Yeah, it's Gamora.
RDJ, Chris Evans, ScarJo, and yeah. So aside from that, but I mean, like think about it, like Rooker, Renner. Sorry, the R's. Sorry, Tia. I mean, like all of them. You know, Haley. I mean, like all of them have been back for What If. Chadwick, for God's sakes. I mean, come on. I mean, think about this. I mean, like, this is really, really cool. And not to mention the fact that the animation has been very good. And talking about the past storylines leading up to what the story they are telling for the current episode has been absolutely spot on. And there have been spots to where I don't know if anyone else was, you could tell a little bit of voiceover, but there are some of those spots to where I was like, did they pull that from the movie or not?
Well, this episode to me is the most glaring because it has the most consistency from its origin, which is the movie. So it does make me kind of think, does any of these actions stand to pop up again in Strange's sequel? Maybe, because literally everyone that we heard in this is supposed to be, outside of the Ancient One, is supposed to be in Doctor Strange too.
Well, and they said that this episode meant more to the MCU than you actually think. Like I keep seeing that article pop up with that tagline.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I personally, I can't even begin to fathom what of this episode is what trickles into the MCU. But yeah, I mean, I think you can make that case for a lot of what's to come in these What If episodes. Mystery, I think, is the one who said, what if Quicksilver survived instead of Hawkeye? And I assume Mr. E was paid off by Tia. I would assume, I mean, that does actually drastically change a lot that we're into right now in the MCU. Wanda's not alone if Quicksilver never died. You know, so it's more so kind of just like, well, does she go full crazy knowing that she has actual family to lean on after the moments of Endgame where literally everyone forgot about her?
What if
does she even get with Vision?
Wait, say it again, Trayvon.
Does she even get with Vision? Did she even fall in love with him?
Maybe not, because again, part of her being with Vision was
codependency.
Exactly, right. She needed someone. And people have forgotten about Wanda a lot in the MCU, like a lot.
Well, not now.
Not now. She's gonna make sure of that. And she'll have her babies that she could always have around. So yeah, that actually might be the most controversial What If, because it has a lot of different layers to it. I actually like that. I don't know what really Hawkeye not being here, what that really changes. I'm trying to think.
Well, the heart of the Avengers would be washed away, guys. Come on.
No. I don't mean it. I don't want Renner going. I'm saying, like, story-wise, is there anything?
Ah, damn it. Tia dropped out.
Sarcastic.
Black Widow would be hurt.
Well, Black Widow would be dead.
Oh, she's already dead, depending on what if we watch.
No,
so.
well, you said if he died in the Age of Ultron instead of, I'm saying, so he would be around.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have changed who she went on that. I mean, I don't think that would have changed that she still would have went on that mission.
Who was she been there with though? Who would have like? Was she just went by herself?
Assume Quicksilver. I assume. I assume he would have probably been the one that she teamed up with, because you assume if Hawkeye's gone, Quicksilver probably doesn't dust away. He's probably one of the ones that stays, because you have to have, I assume, that amount of people, because you sent 2 people everywhere, or 3.
Yeah, but why would Black Widow team up with
Quicksilver?
Quit trying to be a mathematician when it comes to the snap.
I'm saying that doesn't make sense though.
Or
Why would she team up with Quicksilver though?
It wasn't ideally a team up necessarily. Like, why would Rhodey want to go team up with Nebula? That was a weird pair.
No, Wanda was snapped.
She likes that chocolate, man.
Apparently she did. Because I'm like, that was a weird pair. Like, why wouldn't Stark team up with Rhodey? So I mean,
she thought about Black Panther. She's like, nah, Rhodey's more my league. I'll go with Rhodey.
Right. And Rhodey.
Listen, I will say one thing, like Nebula and Rhodey, that movie, I was like, why haven't we had this before? I thought they clicked it off really well.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm totally with you on that one, Tia. I mean, come on, let's be honest. It's like, all right, cool. But I do love when they're in the video chat, like that little look that Carol Danvers gave Rhodey. It's like, how you doing? You know, like I was like, all right, that's cool too.
She was giving weird looks all through that movie.
Yeah.
The look she gave Peter was super weird. It was just like, hello, Parker. It's just like, why did you give that look?
Yeah.
No, she said.
I will say the
Peter
tone
Parker.
she did with that too was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, she gave a look as if the
Not
actor
too much.
thought
Not too much.
Tom- as if the actor thought Tom was attractive, not Captain Marvel thinking Peter was attractive.
For the record, the first time we did work with Tom Holland, I thought it was an inappropriate crush that my wife, KJ, developed on him. Thankfully, he was 20 at the time, so I was like, oh, thank God he's legal. So I mean, like he is a handsome man and he is charming as shit. So in Endgame, when Carol Danvers goes, "Hey, Peter Parker," it's
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
yeah, you're like, ugh. But now I get it.
Yeah, I had no concept of that. I had the biggest crush on Selena Gomez and Wizards of Waverly Place. But like, you know, I didn't. I'm like, I assumed she looked the same age as me. So I was just like, yeah, we're the same age.
I have no idea what you just said. Just for the record.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
I'm old. I can't help it, man.
I wanted to speak.
Hey, you decided to do this with us, so I mean, this is all on you, man.
I blame you, Patches. It's your fault.
No, don't. I call bullshit.
I wanted to go back to what you said, Ryan. You were saying, I don't remember if you were saying your issue with the Black Panther episode.
Oh, just the whole Thanos coming over the way that he did. Oh, you know, I just reasoned with him and he was cool with it. Like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like a Thanos thing for me. No, I as good as Black Panther is, I just don't think he's capable of being that much of an ambassador of goodwill.
I think the only reason why that worked for me was, remember, in Thanos' mind, and I know this is pretty much what every villain says, but really more so in Thanos' mind, he wasn't doing this to conquer the world. He wasn't doing this to be evil. He literally thought, if I don't do this, what happened to my planet will happen everywhere. You know, I have to balance things. It's why after he balanced it, he didn't take over Earth. He went and farmed. He was left alone. So to me, I do believe that there was a part of that Thanos that could have been reasoned with of, dude, that's insane. No, I think there's other ways to do it.
I think he probably could have also
real early before he got to be, you know, Mad Titan level. You know what I mean?
Well, no, remember the one in Endgame is the Thanos from Guardians. Right. The one in Infinity War is the one you could have talked down. The one from Guardians, that's the Mad Titan. That's the guy that purely wants to just rule.
I think they could have also because they had the embers so that like they could have grown like more like agriculture. Like if they said, hey, like instead of killing half the people, how about we just grow 2 times the food?
Right. Yeah. I think there was a lot that could have been reasoned with.
I mean, let's be honest. Terraforming a planet is not a lost concept in this universe.
That is true. That is indeed true.
That's an interesting thing Jamie brought up, though. you said before that like they didn't want to introduce new things that were kind of outside of what we've seen in the movies. Bringing that thing in, that thing was like in one of the Star Trek movies. They have this like Genesis thing that like does. Someone said terraforming before too, but like bringing something like that in, that's a thing that now I'm wondering like where does that thing exist in the MCU? Like I would love to see that thing and what they could do with it, or does that not exist because it's in a what if timeline?
Well, no, he just means I think what the showrunner meant was they can't do anything of Marvel properties. So like
Also, like the characters,
right, like he couldn't introduce like he couldn't mention mutants, he couldn't mention Fantastic Four, like that has to wait. He'll be able to do it for season 2.
So like gems and weaponry and that sort of thing,
right.
like you can okay.
Right.
But yeah, so this thing does exist. I forgot the name of the seed or whatever it was, but
Jamie, what did you say it was called?
I don't remember the whole thing, but I think they just called it like embers or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go with embers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's safe to say that those embers exist within the MCU. We just haven't been introduced to them yet.
Maybe, or maybe it was just created for that episode.
Okay. Yeah, because between that and the end where basically Peter meets his father at the Dairy Queen, I want to know what happens next, and I'm hoping that there's at least like a episode 2 of this story or that story so we can kind of continue on to see how far down the rabbit hole we can go with this thing.
Yeah, that's huge because if there's no Guardians to stop Ego, Ego then takes Star-Lord's power, and then who knows what he decides to do. He is a Celestial, so who knows what he decides to do. He's all powerful, all powerful. Yeah, that's very interesting, especially with us now being introduced to the actual Celestials. Right. That would have been really interesting for him to go, oh, brother, oh, sister, oh, what's up? Like, hey, when did you guys get here? So I mean, that's really interesting. That moment stood out to me the most out of any moment out of all of these episodes so far. Because it's the most intriguing. It has the most consequences.
Peter and his dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Consequences. Because if Ego takes all of Star-Lord's power and there's no one to stop Ego.
Right.
You now have the Avengers worrying about Thanos, Ego. Like, you know what I'm saying? Loki's now floating around over here. Kang is on his way.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Ego took like what 90% of, well, actually, as far as quote unquote power goes, Ego took all of Quill's power because he's not a Celestial anymore. He's not immortal anymore. He is mortal, right? So that being said, theoretically speaking, the Guardians killed Ego. So the Avengers would have just made him his bitch. So, I mean, like, let's be honest here. Do the math. You were talking about math earlier. Ego took all of Star-Lord's powers. He's mortal, right? Yes.
Right.
All right. So Ego was like full strength. And the Guardians smoked Ego.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind the reason Star-Lord and Yondu were able to beat him was that there was an emotional advantage that they were able to have over Star-Lord was able to have over Ego. If Ego is just going all out with no care in the world, he's a lot more powerful than they showcased there.
Like I said, I'm talking about the math. All right, you're bringing in the emotion. Earlier in the conversation, when like you're doing the numbers, like if you go with the math and the equations, the Guardians killed Ego at quote unquote 100%, taking all of Star-Lord's, all of his celestial powers. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but we also have to venture in, he wouldn't stop there. He was stopped once he got Star-Lord's power. But if there is no one there to check him, who's to say he doesn't find more power to take as he goes? Because again, no one knew of his existence till he went and found Star-Lord. So he's been gaining all this power since forever. So if there wasn't the emotional angle of him seeking out Star-Lord, then it does change things. It does change things to where it's now, where does he get stopped?
I think that
wasn't
timeline
he-
had a lot of question marks on it, just because like the results of all that stuff, like you don't know what the Avengers looks like in that universe. You don't know what other people that have existed in the Marvel universe as we know it look like in that dynamic. You have to really open that up to show who is good, who's bad. I mean, for all we know, Dormammu could be working in good cahoots with Doctor Strange for all we know. Like it could
Wait,
be.
hold on.
Well, I mean, and then there's Cha-Cha. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
let me ask this. Guardians 2 was before or after Civil War? It was after, wasn't it?
Guardians 2 was, yeah.
It was after Civil
Yeah,
War.
yeah.
So the Avengers aren't even together. So that makes it even worse. Thor's not even on World, and that's probably your best asset against the against Ego is Thor. So no, I don't think Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Spider-Man, and those guys could have defeated Ego the Living Planet. I think you need
not to mention the fact that in Civil War there's no Black Panther then. And does that mess up the dynamic even more? Are they even more split? You know, it's like, once you pull one thread, it just goes everywhere.
It completely unfolds. Joe, you were about to say something?
No, I was going to say, wasn't he also trying to consume Earth? Ego? Wasn't he also trying to?
That was the end game. I think he was trying to get strong enough.
Well, it was multiple worlds. Every world that he had tried to make a mate with.
Right.
All those plants that he
The seeds
implanted. Yeah, the seed. The seed of Ego.
Planted
is really meant both
So
ways.
no, that's what I'm saying. So Joanne, what you were saying is he wouldn't have stopped at Quill. He would have gotten his powers, which he did. And had the Guardians not stopped him, he would have been successful in consuming that. And then he would have been stronger.
Right.
Yeah.
All in the game says the Guardians were able to defeat Ego because the script required it. That's 95% of the MCU.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, again, I let that go. The MCU does not take favor to its villains. I let that go a long time ago. The Black Order being defeated as easily as they were.
How long ago did you let that go?
No. Listen to what I said. How easily villains are able to be defeated is what I
sorry.
a long time ago.
Sorry.
Because I just kind of realized, like, I get the hero has the win. That's not what I'm speaking of. It's just it should be harder for them to win. Yeah. And the fact that Ronan was defeated in a dance battle, it's just like there's just no respect to the character of Ronan.
I mean, it took 11 years to get the big bad.
No, you've had numerous big bads, but they dwindle them down. Ultron is a massive big bad that they dwindle down. The Black Order is a massive big bad that they dwindled down. Again, I get it. Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right, Trayvon.
I didn't hear what he said. What'd you say?
Zemo won. Zemo accomplished what he wanted.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the one that succeeded at all.
Yeah, that's the one villain you want to have actually win, right? Zemo. But yeah, no. So again, in my mind, I let that go a long time ago, and I've accepted it. All of Marvel scripts require the villain to be less than to really kind of put the heroes over. So it's fine. I've accepted it. I've come to terms with it. Whatever. All right. Last question before we get out of here. I want to get us all out of here. My last question is, in October, I believe we're supposed to be getting a Disney investors meeting where we're supposed to be getting more information. Let's keep it Marvel only. What's the one bit of news you want to come out of this investors meeting, starting with you, Dom?
It's a good one. You know what? I really want to know going forward. Are we going to get the movies on Premier Access in the theaters, or are they going to just keep pushing them back? I need a decision to be made because COVID ain't going nowhere. COVID got homies, and they piling up, and they stomping us out. You know what I'm saying? Set tripping. So I need them to make a definitive decision that either A, we're pushing them back, or B, we're going to do Premier Access, because we all want to see these things, and we're tired. I don't want to see Blade in 2030. Like Mahershala gonna move on and gonna do something else. I need it now, so I need them to make a decision.
Yeah, you're right. COVID is like the party that is starting to dwindle, and you're like, thank God, everyone's gonna go home. And then the doorbell rings, and it's like 30 more people, and it's just
Nah,
like, oh
it's not even like that here. It's like people are knocking on COVID's door, like, "Hey, can you let me in?" Like, I don't know if y'all hear my neighbors. My neighbors be like hacking all day. I don't want to say it too loud, but I'm like, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all just need to stay away from me.
Jamie, I'm just picturing your neighbors are GVN fans, so they're watching it live, listening to you, just like, okay.
If we are, I appreciate the support. Y'all please stay away from me though. Thank you.
That's interesting. I think the safest answer to give you is it's a movie by movie. It's movie by movie. I don't think any studio is gonna come out and fully say, yes, we're gonna go 50-50. Warner did it and got the shittiest of shit storms. So I think everyone will kind of take it by a movie to movie basis. Which is why I told Kanan, he's like, well, Shang-Chi better make a crap load of money. And I'm like, realistically, who thinks that? Who thinks that? There's a new strain every 5 minutes. The last thing I'm thinking is everyone wants to go to the movie theaters right now. No. So to me, it should not depend on that. It's just the idea of it's smart right now, regardless if it makes money or not. Black Widow went 50-50 and made a crap load of money for a pandemic. So to me, just go 50-50. Simple. Again, you're charging me $30. Do you think that's cheap? That's not cheap. Okay.
Well, and Dom and
all
Tia,
about
I mean, the three of us were on a podcast talking about this. Like, what's the path of least resistance, right? What do you want to do? I mean, like, yes, the experience is amazing, like being in the theater and like having, the massive screen and, the used to be 7 or 8 or 32.1 surround sound right now. But at the same time, there is something to be said if you just want to pay $30, if you have a wife, just 2 people, let alone having kids, like myself and KJ, like we have 2 people. So like at minimum, we're talking at least $30-$40 between admission, concessions, everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can have cinema on demand via Disney Plus, HBO Max, if they choose to do that with all the WB, product. But $30 actually is a cheaper night in. I mean, so like what's the balance, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just saying like $30 isn't cheap in respects to, I don't want them to think, oh, they're getting a steal by me making it $30. Like, no, that's not a steal really for anyone. If you think about it, it's generating literally the same thing as if, like you just said, you're doubling up and going to the movie theater. But Tia,
I would say that it would be. Oh, no, go ahead, Tia. Sorry.
Oh wait, Tia, you're muted. And you were making a good point too.
She had the hand up and all.
You're just like,
I will say that I think that, so I know that they're not doing it with Shang-Chi, at least not right now. I think that they should release Eternals 50-50 like they did with Black Widow, because as you said, Juan, Black Widow made a killing and it didn't even show in China. I think Shang-Chi is not showing in China. The Eternals is not going to show in China.
Shang-Chi's not being shown in China?
Yeah.
I don't think they're not showing it in China.
And then they're not controversy with.
There's a controversy, and then they're not. And you know that they're not going, and they're not going. Hang on, one sec. No, I just want to continue. They're not going to show Eternals in China because China does not like Chloe. There's like a whole controversy there, right? So literally, these next few movies, nothing changes from Black Widow. Nothing literally changes. You're not, by putting them strictly in the theaters, you're not then going to just gain the money that you get from the Chinese box office. So literally the fact that nothing's changing, just do 50-50 like you did. You saw that Black Widow is able to make a fair amount of money. You know that Shang-Chi is going to make a good amount of money. You know Eternal is going to make a good amount of money. I think they should just do it 50-50. So yeah, no, they're not showing the next two Marvel movies in China. So I just don't see what the difference.
They changed all of Shang-Chi to fit China. And if you're not showing it there, you took Bing Boom away from me.
There's a huge controversy. And then again with the Eternals, there's a huge controversy with Chloe.
Like they changed everything. Mandarin being dad. Yeah, Mandarin being his dad was only because they couldn't go with the actual person who was his dad because it was so offensive. We don't have Fing Fang Foom because
it's still important to change those things for those who are of Chinese heritage who are around the world. I
don't think they cared about that. I think they cared about their actual Asian market being affected if they did not fix it. But if your Asian market isn't seeing it, give me my goddamn Fing Fang Foom. Anyway,
I haven't seen the movie.
You just want to see Fu Manchu.
Yeah, I do want to see Fu Manchu, and I get it. He's super offensive. He is like the idea of if there was a Marvel character that was black where his pants were sagging, he had a hat side. It's the equivalent of that. I understand.
Gotcha.
But give me Fing Fang Foom. But anyway, I don't think Eternal should be where they start to 50-50. I think Shang-Chi should be where they start to 50-50.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
If this has a full theatrical release and it doesn't do well, it taints so much of what you're trying to do with the movie. Go ahead, Patches.
All right, let me ask this. So what did the theater on? I don't know. What were the numbers? Was it around like 60 or 80 million? Like say for Black Widow, right? When that was much anticipated, and it was released, 50-50. What did it make Disney Plus? It was what 60 million, 60, 70, 80 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, didn't that movie cost like 100 million to produce? Or even more?
I don't know if that costs 100 million.
Right,
well, I mean,
good marketing maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, even at that, I mean, like on the business side, I understand why, like the 50-50 thing could come into play, but how much is the other 50 of being in theaters, especially right now, going to compensate for what the actual the money, in the money on the net side.
Well, again, streaming nets you more, especially in the times we're in, because people are more inclined to want to be home and comfortable and watch it. So to me, you would make more from your home release than you would your theatrical release.
So it made 371 million. It reportedly costs at 200 million. So you're supposed to make like 2.5, almost 3 times the amount that it costs to make it. So I don't think it's going to, in the long run, become a success. It'll probably hit like, I always use the Green Lantern example where it was more than what the film cost, but after everything gets figured in on the back end, it doesn't really make its money back.
Also, we have to look at it like this. Music, if you had asked any record label 10 years ago about streaming music, they would tell you there's no revenue in that. Someone has to buy my physical CD.
Oh, my friend, a lot longer than that.
But for sure. But as you see, artists now exclusively want you to stream their music as opposed to buying their physical CDs. So streaming will catch up. It's just a matter of the willingness of studios to let go of theater relationships, and how that affects directors who want to shoot something in IMAX or wants to shoot something in 3D or whatever the case may be.
So why I wanted, I wanted to go back to your Warner Brothers example. I know I'm kind of like the WBDC shill and all that stuff. I know, but like at the same time, I actually like what they're doing. Now, granted, obviously, Suicide Squad was not going to do like traditional box office numbers, and that was easy to see a mile away. But at the same time, I like what they're doing now because they're like, hey, you know what? It seems like HBO Max is kind of our future. Let's put Blue Beetle, let's put Batgirl, let's put all these smaller budget movies that are still movies, but we can put them on our service now. So the future might not be these big 200 million productions anymore. It might just be straight to our streaming service. We put like 50 million into this. Hope you like these smaller stories. I don't love it, but maybe
well, oh, sorry, Trayvon, go ahead.
Okay, I know. I can just see how disappointed you are hearing that.
See, okay, I have a problem with that because those movies are minority movies. It seems that they're doing that too, and I have a problem with that. Yeah. Why can't it be theatrical like everything else? But it's fine, whatever. But see, for me, I think what's happened with Disney Plus rather than HBO Max, they renegotiated and made and dumped out the money before all these movies came out all on streaming, and they're not going to continue doing that. I think that's just something they did for this year. I do not think they're going to continue. I think once this is over, there's no more. They're continually. I think movies are continually being moved, so they're outside of this window that they said about all 2021 movies will be on HBO Max. They're not going to keep doing that unless they renegotiate again.
I agree. I think they will continue to do that. I think if you're smart, to me, if you're Warner Brothers, what you should do is get ahead of it. Like Ryan,
they should, yes,
like you were saying, Ryan. It's why I said, and again, I only look at it from a business sense, a marketing sense, and a business sense. It makes sense for those specific projects to be your exclusive movies on your app. Those are the movies that diehard fans will flock to, and people who don't know it. Think about it. There were so many people around the world who had no idea what the hell a WandaVision was. What it was about, what it pertained to, why it was important. They all flocked to Disney Plus to check it out. And there was no build-up to WandaVision.
Free. WandaVision. It's on there. It's just it's not something you pay for, just like HBO Max. They're just on there.
Some people did though.
The timeout. You're not paying for Batgirl. You didn't pay for Suicide Squad.
That's what I'm saying. You're not getting what I'm saying. HBO Max movies are on there for free. You are paying for it, you can watch them.
All right. So let me ask 2 questions. All right. So one, All in the Game said when we were talking about Black Widow, 80 million opening with another 60 million on Disney Plus. The movie cost was 200 million. All right. So surprisingly, I wasn't off, which is weird. But that being said, so you have that. So that was the first that's just the statement. My first question is, one, was Warner Brothers the smarter of the studios to say and get ahead of the game, saying, you know what?
Yes.
We know how much. Hold on, Ryan. I got you. Yes. Now, granted, a lot of the DC property, Zack Snyder, I'm not a fan of. However, they were smart to get ahead of the game and renegotiate with the talent and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, correct? Mm-hmm. And they're like, we're going to renegotiate the contracts and we're going to do this.
Right.
So good on them. 2 thumbs up, 100%. Was that were they ahead of the game? But my second question is, now that being said, and what we just talked about, having the future movies, future everything, is that now pushing everything to the streaming services to do what WandaVision is and Falcon and Winter Soldier and What If and everything, and doing the 6, 8, 10, 12 part episodes as opposed to the series now, because the way COVID and everything else is going, we're like legitimately pushing a little bit lower budget but higher streaming, subscriptions, which is going to compensate. So is the streaming service era and the multi-part episodes and movies, as opposed to movies, as I should say, going away?
I think for the WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff, from what I understand, they cost the amount of a movie just split down into 6 parts or whatever. Like they're not like spending the amount of money on every episode. So it's like, here's 100 million, the same amount we'll put in the movie, split it with 6 parts. We're putting it on Disney Plus. They knew that from the beginning. The problem is with Black Widow and everything else. Black Widow apparently was supposed to be only theaters. Then they decided to put it on streaming as well, which is good for the people at home, yes. But then you got the talent being mad and suing. So I feel like that same thing might happen with if they try it with Shang-Chi, they try it with Eternals, they try, it's not going to be the same. And also Spider-Man will never
well,
end up on the stream service because they're not Disney
well,
Plus. It's not.
Well, true, but I mean, I understand that point, Trayvon, but like on the business side of things, ScarJo was withstanding, in her lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, do you not think that, like on the business side, we're gonna, like we want to see the next iteration of the X-Men, who now that Disney owns X-Men, who's to say that they won't put that out on a 10-12 part episode as opposed to a theatrical release, right?
Oh, wait, I'm
confused.
What
X-Men.
What point are you making, and then what point are you arguing, Trayvon? That's where I'm getting confused. Because like I see where you're both coming from, but I'm not.
I'm saying longevity wise, because people like the second you get that subscription, it takes more effort, and like humans as a culture is inherently has laziness to them, right? So it's like, oh, I'm gonna cancel that subscription next month. Oh crap, I forgot. I'll cancel it next month. Well, that 15 every month, you keep rolling it. How many lazy people are around there that aren't canceling that subscription? That just keeps rolling into the bank, making more and more zeros.
So what are you saying? If you're Disney, should you not want to put it out on the streaming service?
I think you should put it more out on the streaming service. And I think because of what my point was, like asking that second question, my personal answer is I think that with COVID and everything else that has happened, the culture has been pushed even more towards the streaming services and more towards, like the convenience of being able to view at home and being able to say, what, even if it is in quote unquote theaters, if they're even left in 2 years, that, like I'll pay the $30. It's not a big deal.
Oh, well, yeah, no. Okay. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's why I said I want these smaller projects to be on a streaming service because it's easier to start it there and then put it in theaters rather than have it strictly theatrical and then tell people that they can that they can also now view it from home. Because now you're taking a predominantly Hispanic character or Black character and you're stripping their theatrical success to now put it purely on a streaming service. But if the world, by the time 2022 summer comes around, is completely normal, yes, make as many of these movies as possible for the big screen. But I'm saying we don't know. We have no idea. I'm only speaking on what I'm living in now, not what it could be.
Right.
What I'm living in now, because Batgirl's about to start filming in the next month and a half. I don't want her movie to come out in theaters for people that are not interested to going to the theaters.
Exactly.
I want it in a place where every human being can watch it comfortably. And then if there is a mass outpour of, no, put it on a big screen, I can easily give you a theatrical release. Yep. It's what they did with Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. It was a Netflix exclusive that they gave a theatrical release to. No one went, but they gave it a theatrical release.
Interesting. But yeah, to your point, Juan, I just wanted to say that I think that that's still a good thing for Warner Brothers. Say 6 months from now, we actually get past COVID for whatever that means. Having those smaller movies like a Batgirl, like a Blue Beetle, whatever, whoever comes into that, these 50 million ones, it's like 2 episodes of WandaVision worth or whatever. I think they cost like 225 to make that. So you break it down episodes, whether it's between 50 million and 100 million, whatever, these smaller projects, not only do they have more creative license to be on a platform like that, where the studio isn't freaking out, like, I don't know if we could justify 225 million to make a Batgirl movie or something like that. You put it on the small service. At the same time, it drives up their numbers too, and everyone wins in that regard, while you're putting out the Flash and all these big ones.
I don't even think it's that, because again, look at Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Look at the social issues they tried to tackle in that.
Yeah.
You could say it's somewhat offensive. You decided to capsulize that to essentially a TV show, when that should have been something you put on the big screens for everyone to experience in that platform. But to Marvel, they needed some content on Disney Plus. They said people are they're more accepting of Falcon here than to put him on a big screen when we don't know if people are interested in Falcon.
What?
Now people are interested seeing how it played out, and it's not even Falcon, Trayvon. If the show is about Bucky, who is really that invested in Bucky to go out to see a Bucky movie in theaters? So to me, it's the idea of we can take risk on Disney Plus that we necessarily would not want to take in a theatrical release.
But it's also the hubris of the studios too, to think that they can control, like, we're going to do this on the streaming service, or we're going to 50-50, or we're only going to theatrically release. And that's a maddening thing.
I mean, look, if you're Warner Brothers, it's worked. Godzilla and Kong made good money. Mortal Kombat made good money. Like, it has not failed them yet. There has not been one straight to HBO Max release that has been a complete failure.
Right.
So to me, that's showing you it works. It works. It works. So why not continue to do it? And again, like I said, if what you're saying is, Trayvon, you want these characters of color on the big screen, that is a very easy fix, is all I keep trying to say.
I'm not saying I'm against the stuff being on the streaming service. I'm just saying they might not be able to do that without renegotiating, and they haven't done that yet. So that's maybe why they haven't done it.
If that's your argument, that's an easy fix. Again,
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not against it. I want them at home too. I bought the TV on purpose.
I think people forget Scarlett Johansson's issue wasn't that it came out on Disney Plus. It was only that she didn't get paid for it to be on Disney Plus.
Right. Which the one good thing I can say about Warner is they renegotiated all the contracts prior to that.
Immediately. As soon as they made the announcement and all the directors said, I will kill you. They said,
100%.
I'll fix it right now.
That was one good thing.
All right. Let me
But,
finish.
at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, well, what if that happened?
All right. Let me finish these questions so we can get out of here.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. I dad joked that one.
You're the worst, but I love you.
I know. You're welcome.
Finish this off. So, Dom, what you want to see at the investors meeting is more confirmation on whether or not it's theaters or Disney Plus, or if it's going to be 50-50. Jamie, I'll go to you next. What's the one thing you want to see come out of this Disney investors meeting from Marvel only?
Honestly, I can't really think of anything that is currently in the MCU that I'm like, oh yeah, I need an update on this like right now. But I really love the X-Men. Like, the X-Men is where I think I first fell in love with Marvel. So I would love for the X-Men to make some kind of return in the near future, especially Wolverine. We'll see how that goes with the casting and everything. But I am definitely interested to see what Disney is going to do as far as having the premiere access stay, or if they're going to do full theatrical release next year.
See, I'm glad you said that, because I'm of the mindset of that is the one character I want them to wait on. Not super long, but I need the X-Men to have a movie with no Wolverine. An X-Men team, no Wolverine, and then do a Wolverine project on its own. And then down the road, bring them together.
Let's start with Alpha Flight and all that stuff.
Yes, 100%. Because people disrespect Scott Summers way too much. And the biggest reason they disrespect him is people think Wolverine is the leader of the X-Men. Never has been the case. Ever, 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 ever. It's always Scott. But the movies have never made it that way. It always seems like Wolverine is the head guy, and Scott's just the idiot that's just standing by.
The lovesick
I want you
puppy.
to focus. Yes, I want you to focus on Cyclops and let Wolverine do his Weapon X movies. Do 3 Weapon X movies. Combine them with Deadpool. Have fun with that, and then bring them into the X-Men. But don't do it right off the bat, because people will never give Scott Summers a time of day.
That's why we need to make a TV series.
I agree. I 100% agree. Trayvon, what's the one thing you want to see come out of this Disney investors meeting?
Deadpool movie actually started filming.
It's not going to start filming in the next month and a half.
I need them to actually do it. I'm tired of hearing they're working on it. I'm tired of that. Sick of them saying it.
They are. Would you, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't believe them. I don't believe them.
How do you not believe that? Ryan Reynolds has a movie every 5 days. I do believe that that's something they're working on.
I think we'll never get that movie. I need them to commit to making a rated R Deadpool movie, like for real. Like I want to see them do it. I feel like
the fact that they've told you. All right, let me ask you this: Has the MCU ever told you they're going to do something that they have not done?
No, but
the fact that you have to think that hard. But why would you think this would be the first? Feige wouldn't say yes to something that he had no interest in doing.
Feige skates around this question every time he gets asked. But
he says we're working on it.
Feige is a mad scientist, dude. Don't even question him anymore.
Let me say this. Feige is honest when he wants to be. When Amy Pascal was throwing around that the Venom movie and whatnot was in the MCU, Feige was very adamant. Amy has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. Don't listen to Amy. And have you seen Venom in the MCU to this point? No. So he's very much a man who, when he says something, he means it. Now, if he plays coy, that's different. But if he says Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool will be in the MCU, I believe it. So
I changed my answer. I want the Defenders back. How about that? The Defenders are in the MCU and they continue.
TV Defenders, or do you want just a whole new one?
Which, by the way,
I want the ones and Iron Fist included.
Which, by the way, a lot of people are confused on this, and it's completely okay. It's Netflix's fault, not you guys. That is not the Defenders.
That's the ones I know. Sorry.
That's not the Defenders. That's not even what they're called. That's a team up that rarely happened. It was usually only Luke Cage and Iron Fist. But they're not called. The Defenders is like Silver Surfer, I think Doctor Strange. It's like a weird team up. But it's not those guys. So I think if we see them again, it won't be the name The Defenders. I think they'll wipe that. So that they could maybe actually use the Defenders down the line.
Or they call them the Not Vengers?
No, I don't even think you have to give them a team name. I just never thought they needed a team name. And if you do, just get more creative, something that makes more sense. They're street level guys. The Defenders, they're defending New York.
Like,
yeah. Give them a more appropriate name. Who did I go to? Patches, did you go yet? Okay, you go ahead. I think I got right.
All right. The first thing I want to know is, the biggest thing I want to know out of the investors meeting is, will they finally reveal who is under Jamie's bed?
Now that's an end credit.
That's always classified.
You know that's going to be an end credit scene somewhere.
All right, so that's like Shield out. Yeah. It's like Shield secret file shit, right?
We're still in negotiations about that reveal.
We actually we have more clues now, because remember at the end of WandaVision where the Skrull said they'll see you now. They said he, but they were hiding the fact that it's truly she. And Jamie is recruiting people.
Right.
That's how they teleport. They teleport to the bed, and then they're there. So that's the post. But go ahead. What's your actual pick, Patches?
Honestly, you know what? At this point, I want more obscure content, because I was never a comic book guy. So I have been indoctrinated into the superhero world via KJ, who was a comic book girl, and the movies. So I want more obscure. I'm excited for Moon Knight. I'm excited for Shang-Chi, and like everything else, and the Eternals, and I want more of that, and I want more of the unknowns, because the MCU was founded on a B character of the comic books in Iron Man. For for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's
Especially by audience perception. Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I need more of that. And I think that's more vital to the longevity and the success of the MCU, building those characters that you fall in love with and just keep it pushing forward. Yeah. So I want to see the obscure guys that, like it, I'm a comic guy. I'm not a comic book guy. I want to hear guys, like Moon Knight and and the guys I list earlier. That's what I want to see.
Fair. Ryan, what do you want to say?
I got 3 that are buzzing around in my head. I'll just list them off real quick. One that I'll probably never see in my lifetime, which is the Invaders. Will probably never happen. That'd be a great for a what if.
Yeah.
I would really like to see Squadron Supreme. I would love that to be on. I know
it's bootleg Justice League, Ryan.
I'm a sucker for Justice League. And then
you need it in Marvel. You can't just accept it in DC. You need it in Marvel.
By the way, they're already trying a Superman by giving us Icarus. I'm sure we're gonna get Gladiator down the road. I mean, I don't care, man.
Ryan, so are you saying you want like 2 horrible team up movies?
Okay, all right, okay. Now
I'm just asking.
Go ahead. Move on, Ryan.
And then the other one would be what it seems like we're getting to, and it's probably the most plausible Thunderbolts movie.
Thunderbolts movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to announce it. Or a series. Just give us Thunderbolts. I want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Those are kind of 3.
Yeah, all right. So if essentially I had 3 wishes, one would be not to ever see Squadron Supreme. If you guys listening are not familiar with Squadron Supreme, they are legit Marvel's Justice League. Literally, like there's literally a Batman, there's literally a Superman, like it's literally almost a carbon copy of the Justice League.
Yep.
And again, their leader that's like Superman is just as OP as Superman, and it's like I don't even like how OP Superman is. Nighthawk, that's who it is. Nighthawk.
Yeah.
That's their Batman. It's just ugh. Anyway, all I want, very simple, nothing crazy. I want to see Moon Knight in this suit, not his costume. Moon Knight has an actual all-white suit. Excuse me. I want to see him in that with his mask on. That's what I want to see at this investors meeting. And the other thing is, just announce the cast for the Fantastic Four. You have it. There's no way you don't. You have it. You know who you want. You've casted. You figured it out. Give it to me. Same time matches.
I would have lost money on your first statement.
What
would have been Mephisto?
Oh no. I told you guys I'm over that. I don't even. So many people thought Mephisto was in this What If episode. If you notice, I didn't say a word about it. It's a character that I'm losing interest in as the day goes by.
You're welcome.
So just Moon Knight. I want more about Moon Knight. And I want you to give me the cast of the Fantastic Four. I know you have it. Simple as that. And I don't even care who you cast. There is I don't care if it's not John Krasinski. I could care less. Cast whoever you want. That's what you've been doing in the MCU. Tom Holland was unknown. Tom Hiddleston to a lot was unknown. Chris Hemsworth to a lot was unknown. And look where we are today. I'm fine. Cast the box as Mr. Fantastic, if you want. I don't care. Just give me that.
That's who?
As Mr. What did I say? Mr. Fantastic? That's not what I
meant. I was like, what?
As Reed Richards.
I just want Jason Sudeikis as Reed Richards. That's all I want.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, he's been my fan casting for him for the longest time. I know everyone wants
totally see that.
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, John Krasinski, sure, because they've now drawn him in the comics to look like John Krasinski. So sure. Look in the Reed with the scruffy beard that a lot of people have been doing the fan art of Krasinski looking like. If it's John Krasinski, cool. If it's not, cool. Jason Sudeikis is that's one I never thought of.
I like that, right? That's a solid cast.
I've always wanted him to do something like Booster Gold. I think he'd be a freaking amazing Booster Gold.
He's riding high right now on Ted Lasso, so maybe he won't get called, but who knows?
But that's why I said I think something like Booster Gold, I think would go in the vein of what he's kind of doing with Ted Lasso and just the kind of guy that he is. The more comical, like that would be hilarious. Like Andy Samberg and Jason Sudeikis are my Booster Golds. Like I want either one of them to be my Booster Gold.
Yeah, well, the other one could be Blue Beetle then. Yeah.
Hell yeah, yes. No, I want
that team up.
No. I originally
going down the DC route.
Yeah, all right. We're getting at that. But anyway, yes, that's what I want. Give me the cast for the Fantastic Four, and I'm good. But thank you guys. This is a little bit longer than we usually do for our MCR episodes, just a little bit. We want to thank everybody in the comment section for joining in, giving us your thoughts. We appreciate you guys. Please stay tuned. We will be breaking down Shang-Chi this Friday. If everything goes right, we might be doing it live. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Make sure you guys go out and support Shang-Chi. Go see it. Tia swears by it. She's been able to see it already. So make sure you go see it.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going Friday. I'm not going tomorrow. I'm not going to a packed theater. I'm not. I'm doing a very early.
My theaters are never packed.
They have a 7:00 showing near me somehow, so I'm gonna go see it.
All right, so I'll reach out to you guys for Friday maybe. But all right, thank you guys. I want to thank Trayvon, Dom, Jamie, Ryan, Patches, Tia, and Joe. They had to drop out. Thank you all for joining me, and we will see you guys same time, same place next week. Till then, peace.